Chapter 522. Xiao Chen took out a jade bottle and carefully poured out a third of the exquisite 7-aperture fluid. As the golden liquid dripped into the tub, the clear water in the tub immediately churned. Golden bubbles appeared continuously. The black petals of the heavenly demon flower floated on the surface, suppressing the spiritual energy in the water. None leaked out. By the time the exquisite 7-aperture fluid had completely melted into the water, the clear water had already turned golden. Xiao Chen took out a spirit-gathering pearl and let it float in his palm. Then, he used the purple thunder true fire to refine it. Qi! Qi! The purple thunder true fire burned ferociously. Soon, the spirit-gathering pearl slowly melted. After a while, it turned into a ball of spiritual liquid floating in Xiao Chen's palm. A vast amount of spiritual energy flowed out from the spiritual liquid, causing a cold wind to blow in the room. Xiao Chen poured the spiritual liquid into the bathtub and waited quietly. The golden water quickly warmed up and steam rose from the bathtub. However, the spiritual energy did not leak out at all. The petals of the heavenly demon flower were like a formless and tight net, trapping all the spiritual energy in the golden water. When the golden water boiled completely, Xiao Chen removed his clothes and leaped into the tub naked. Then, he sat down cross-legged. After one breath, the exquisite 7-aperture fluid entered Xiao Chen's pores. It circulated around Xiao Chen's body and opened all 300-odd acupoints. The spiritual liquid hidden in the golden water instantly found an entrance and surged toward Xiao Chen's acupoints. Opening 300-odd acupoints was equivalent to splitting the might of the spiritual liquid into 300-odd portions. This way, the pressure on Xiao Chen was significantly reduced. Xiao Chen's face immediately lit up with joy. It was indeed useful. The heavenly demon flower prevented the spiritual energy from leaking out, and the exquisite 7-aperture fluid opened his acupoints. At the same time, it dispersed the spiritual liquid from the spirit-gathering pearl. Given this, Xiao Chen could use the spirit-gathering pearl to cultivate without any danger. Boom! 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 The spiritual liquid flowed from the 300-odd acupoints in Xiao Chen's meridians at the same time. It was like 300-odd rivers in his meridians, surging with boundless spiritual energy. Good timing! Xiao Chen shouted in his heart, and the purple qi whirlpool quickly spun. More than 300 strands of surging heaven and earth spiritual qi immediately poured in and merged into the qi whirlpool before exploding. The energy of the spiritual light liquid wasn't used up all at once. Instead, it was used continuously, so the power of the explosion was completely within the range of Xiao Chen's tolerance. After the explosion ended, the sparkling and resplendent purple qi whirlpool doubled in size, reaching a size that could only be achieved after a month of bitter cultivation. This made Xiao Chen feel incomparably carefree. However, this was far from the end. The spiritual liquid contained in the golden water surged endlessly towards the more than 300 acupoints in Xiao Chen's body. The speed of the purple qi whirlpool actually increased at a visible rate. Xiao Chen was incomparably shocked, and he was so happy that he was speechless. The resplendent purple qi whirlpool was Xiao Chen's cultivation. The larger the qi whirlpool, the higher his cultivation. In the past, Xiao Chen would have to cultivate bitterly for at least half a month, using several thousand medial-grade spirit stones, before the qi whirlpool could grow slightly larger. However, today, it was slowly growing at every moment. How could such a fast speed not be incredible? Xiao Chen thought excitedly in his heart. It's all worth it. What 1 million medial-grade spirit stones? What severe injuries? What narrow escape? In exchange for 10 times his cultivation speed, it was all worth it. This process continued for the time it took to brew a pot of tea before the spiritual liquid in the golden water slowly decreased. The color of the water also slowly became very clear. The 300-odd acupoints in Xiao Chen's body quickly closed. The petals of the heavenly demon flower floating on the water were no exception, they all withered. Xiao Chen opened his eyes, and a bright light appeared in them. They were very bright in the darkness, like resplendent crystals. After a long time, they slowly faded away. Xiaochen felt his entire body filled with boundless energy. He could feel the purple liquid in the qi whirlpool. This round of cultivation was equivalent to 3 months of cultivation. However, Xiaochen still felt that he was still a medial-grade martial king. He still had not reached the bottleneck. My potential is really ridiculously scary. Unexpectedly, I have not reached the bottom yet. However, now that I have the spirit-gathering pearls, I do not have to rush. I should be able to advance to superior-grade martial king in 6 days. With such a vast foundation, once Xiaochen advanced to superior-grade martial king, he felt terrified just thinking about it. Xiaochen thought of the evil moon pavilions by Zhan. That terrifying opponent could execute his killing move in an instant. The more he thought about that person's strength, the more afraid he became. However, you are dreaming if you want to use my head to repay the pavilion master's kindness. When I advance to superior grade martial king and completely grasp the state of massacre, I do not mind giving you a pleasant surprise. Xiaochen had a grave expression as he spoke with a cold and sinister gaze. The divine dragon worship occupied a vast and luxurious courtyard. There were fake mountains, flowing rivers, gardens, ponds, corridors, and jade pavilions. This was a courtyard that the northern seas 4 young masters rented together. At this moment, the leader of the 4 young masters, the green-robed young master, was entertaining an honored guest in the great hall. It was the last disciple of the Evil Moon Pavilion, Bai Zhan. The Evil Moon Pavilion was one of the 10 great sects of the Great Jin Nation. It was undoubtedly one of the great sects of this starry sky. Even the green-robed young master's clan paled in comparison. Furthermore, Bai Zhan's strength was unfathomable. Hence, the green-robed young master did not dare to slight him. Brother Bai Zhan, it has been 2 years since we last met. I did not expect that your cultivation has already surpassed mine. Bai Zhan smiled faintly at the green-robed young master as he picked up a wine cup and took a sip. When the wine cup in Bai Zhan's hand was emptied, a few scantily clad maidservants at the side immediately came over and refilled Bai Zhan's wine cup. This maidservant had a slender black tail on her back. The other maidservants all had slender black tails as well. The 5 or 6 of these scantily clad maidservants were all beautiful and charming Eros demons. The green-robed young master waved his hand and smiled, "Brother Bai, don't laugh at me. At our cultivation realm, everyone knows that cultivation is not the only measure of combat prowess. I'm afraid that I am still not a match for Brother Bai." Bai Zhan smiled faintly and did not deny it. He said, "This time, I came looking for you to ask you to help me kill someone." The green-robed young master gently swirled the wine cup in his hand. When he saw the swirling wine in the cup, he smiled faintly and said, "Speak, what do you want me to do?" Bai Zhan slammed his wine cup heavily on the table and said softly, "An advanced Eros demon." Bang! The green-robed young master crushed the wine cup in his hand. The wine turned into a straight arrow that broke through the roof and soared into the sky. The 4 directions of the boundless sea all had their own deep-sea battlefields. The scions of these clans or great clans would undergo experiential training on these battlefields from a young age. They were no stranger to demons and did not fear them at all. They had strong wills and strong perseverance. There were even several strong cultivators who would go to the deep-sea battlefields to subdue Eros demons as their pets. This was because Eros demons were extremely beautiful. Their body structure was no different from that of a human woman. Eros demons were also more skillful in bed than human women. They enjoyed it much more comfortably than regular women. There were even some who practiced dual cultivation, relying on Yin to replenish Yang to strengthen their own cultivation. Eros demons innately knew how to replenish Yin by using a male's Yang essence to cultivate. To these cultivators, they were excellent cauldrons. With Yin and Yang complementing each other, the effects were even better. It was much stronger than a regular Yang essence technique. This green-robed young master cultivated the joyous Yin-Yang incantation. It was an incomplete dual cultivation technique from the ancient era. 2 years ago, he found it while exploring a remnant in the boundless sea. After the green-robed young master made up for it, he started cultivating it. By relying on yin to replenish yang, his cultivation advanced rapidly. In a short 2 years, he caught up to the top genius of the boundless sea, Shenyuan Zhantian. The green-robed young master had gained boundless benefits from the Eros demons, tasting countless benefits. Hence, when he heard Bai Zhan mention an advanced Eros demon, his emotions surged and he could not control himself. The demons that came out of the spatial tears would not appear unless there was a true demonic calamity. Even if there were, they would just come and take a look before leaving. The green-robed young master had once used the influence of the 4 noble clans in the shallow sea of the northern sea to search for an advanced Eros demon. After spending countless resources, there was no news at all. The green-robed young master looked at Bai Zhan with a fiery gaze and asked, "Brother Bai, are you serious?" "Indeed, I knew that you would take the bait." Bai Zhan smiled faintly and said softly, "What benefit do I get from lying to you?" Bai Zhan immediately told the green-robed young master about Xiao Chen's backer. Then, he mentioned that Xiao Chen had subdued an advanced Eros demon. The green-robed young master muttered to himself for a while. He was not in a rush to make a decision. Instead, he carefully considered the pros and cons. The 4 young masters all had strong clans behind them. They had received guidance from famous teachers since they were young. Aside from cultivation, they were very familiar with the conflicts of interest in the mundane world, as well as all sorts of crafty schemes. These people were very intelligent. For them to be able to achieve their current accomplishments, they were all very meticulous. How could the green-robed young master not tell them that Bai Zhan wanted to use him? However, this was a mutual use, each taking what they needed. The fact that the other party was able to tell Xiao Chen's backer in full detail showed his sincerity. If it was really as Bai Zhan said, then there was no need to fear too much. The Heavenly Extermination Union was indeed strong. However, this was the boundless sea. Their influence could not reach here. Furthermore, I will not use the strength of my clan. All I have to do is persuade the other 3 young masters. This will be a fight between the younger generation. The Heavenly Extermination Union will not be able to say anything. This way, I will settle the matter with the Heavenly Extermination Union. I will not bring any hidden dangers to my clan. People like them had to be careful with every move they made. Otherwise, if they lost their position as science for the sake of an advanced Eros demon, the gains would not make up for the losses. In that case, many thanks to Brother Bai for the information. Tell me, what do you want me to do? After thinking about it, the green-robed young master felt that it was not a big problem. He chuckled and made his decision. Bai Zhan smiled faintly as though he had expected the other party to agree. He said softly, "I will not make things difficult for you. If there is an opportunity, kill Xiao Chen and hand over his head to me. If not, just subdue his Eros demon." Chapter 523. In reality, Bai Zhan did not care about Xiao Chen at all. Even if Xiao Chen comprehended saber intent, had exquisite saber techniques, and grasped 2 states at the same time, he would not be able to defeat Xiao Chen. However, there was still a difference of 2 cultivation realms between Xiao Chen and Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen's cultivation had risen from the ground up. Along the way, he had consumed countless spirit pills and natural treasures. His cultivation technique was also a peak Earth-ranked cultivation technique of the Evil Moon Pavilion. In terms of cultivation conditions, he was far superior to Xiao Chen. On top of that, his aptitude was not inferior to Xiao Chen's in the slightest. At his peak, he was confident that he would be able to defeat the other party within 10 moves, not even giving the other party a chance to escape. However, there was an advanced succubus by Xiao Chen's side, which added some variables to the battle. He wasn't 100% sure that he could keep Xiao Chen here, so he had to get rid of the succubus by Xiao Chen's side before he could make a move. That was how he was. He wouldn't make a move unless he was 100% confident. Once he made a move, he wouldn't give his opponent any chance. The green-robed young master laughed loudly and said, "That would be for the best. If he is sensible, I can spare his life." If he is not, then don't blame me for being ruthless. This topic ended here. The green-robed young master asked Bai Zhan another question. Brother Bai, you are one of the strongest people in the great Jin nation. Tell me, with my current strength, can I rank high in the great Jin nation? In the next 5-nation youth competition, I should go and see if I can get into the top 10. In the past 5-nation youth competitions, the many outstanding talents of the Boundless Sea could not be bothered to participate. The rewards were not worth their attention. This was because there were similar competitions in the Boundless Sea. The rewards were no worse than the 5-nation youth competition. However, there were already rumors about this 5-nation youth competition. It was the budding era of geniuses. Heroes emerged in large numbers, the winds and clouds stirred. Geniuses from all walks of life gathered here, already drawing the attention of the last competition. Those who obtained the best rankings could enter the higher realms ahead of time. The mysterious upper realm held a fatal attraction for the many cultivators of the Boundless Sea. Naturally, the green-robed young master was no exception. Bai Zhan could tell from Xiao Chen's tone that he was quite pleased with himself, as if he was determined to get into the top 10. In his heart, he couldn't help but curse him for overestimating himself. Even he didn't have much confidence in getting into the top 10. He really didn't know where this person got his confidence from. As everyone knows, there are 10 great sects in Dajin, and the direct disciples of each sect are top-notch geniuses. However, not many people know about the 8 noble clans of the great Jin nation, which are even more powerful. These clans have existed since the Tianwu dynasty. Some of these clans can even be traced back to the earlier period of the Tianwu dynasty. Each of these clans produced an Emperor Wu. The 10 great direct disciples and the disciples of the 8 great clans, that's a total of 18 people. In every 5-nation youth competition, the top 18 will be decided from among these 18 people. With your strength, you should be able to fight for the last 2 spots in the top 20. However, you Don/T have much hope because there are still many hidden talents in Jin Nation. There have also been some top geniuses in the 4 nations recently. With your strength, you can only make it to the top 30. Bai Zhan also wanted to suppress this person's arrogance and prevent him from being too impudent. Thus, he told him the truth. When the green-robed young master heard Bai Zhan/'s words, he felt somewhat embarrassed. The top 10 were the peak, the top 20 were first-rate, and the top 30 were second-rate. The green-robed young master smiled embarrassedly and did not continue on this topic. Instead, he talked about other things. With the attentions of the Eros demons, the two drank and chatted happily. The sky slowly darkened. Brother Bai, stay here tonight. I will discuss this with my brothers first. Not allowing Bai Zhan to refuse, the green-robed young master forced Bai Zhan to stay. A sinister smile appeared on his handsome face as he said to the Eros demons wearing revealing clothes, "You all better properly entertain Brother Bai tonight. If Brother Bai is not satisfied, be careful of my punishment." The Eros demons that the green-robed young master had subdued bowed slightly, revealing a large portion of their bodies. They smiled faintly and said in a soft and charming voice, "Master, rest assured. We will not disappoint young Master Bai." Seeing the green-robed young master leave, Bai Zhan smiled coldly to himself. To think that he dares to practice an incomplete ancient cultivation technique without any qualms. This person is really bold. In the end, dual cultivation is an unorthodox cultivation technique. Furthermore, it is an incomplete cultivation technique. Sooner or later, this person will be blinded by his desires and sink into depravity. There were no shortcuts on the path of cultivation. Since ancient times, how many people who took shortcuts had a good ending? Bai Zhan put down his wine cup and looked at the beauties surrounding him. He frowned slightly and said in a cold voice, "You want to absorb my yang essence and use it to replenish your yang essence to pry into the profound martial techniques of the Evil Moon Pavilion? How can I not see through such a small trick? How foolish!" Bai Zhan quickly tapped with his index finger, and a light flickered. In an instant, he tapped 6 times. A finger mark appeared on the foreheads of the 6 Eros demons, and they slowly fell asleep. For the past 4 days, Xiao Chen had been focused on refining the spirit-gathering pearls, strengthening his cultivation to deal with the evil moon pavilions by Zhan. However, Xiao Chen did not know that the other party had already made a move against him. Furthermore, the other party was making use of Xiao Chen's strength, using schemes to deal with him. Everything was linked together, forcing Xiao Chen into a dead end step by step. After 4 days, Xiao Chen had already used 4 spirit-gathering pearls. His essence cultivation had increased explosively. The purple qi whirlpool in Xiao Chen's dantian had become crystalline and translucent, giving off a resplendent light. Indistinctly, a faint crystal appeared on the qi whirlpool. That was a sign that the qi was about to solidify. In the end, the purple qi whirlpool was just qi. If it could completely crystallize, anyone who wanted to injure Xiao Chen's heart veins or break his cultivation would have to put in a lot of effort. For spirit-gathering pearls, I can vaguely see the end of my cultivation as a medial-grade martial king. After absorbing 2 more spirit-gathering pearls, my potential as a medial-grade martial king should be completely tapped out. After Xiao Chen finished cultivating for the day, he came out of the bathtub and put on his clothes. No matter how great one's potential was, it would be tapped out one day. Xiao Chen had expected this day long ago. He did not show any dismay on his face. Instead, he was very excited. He had waited for this day for a long time already. After Xiao Chen put on his clothes, he was about to go out when he saw a painting on the table. So, he stopped. Xiao Chen had brought this painting out from the ancient desolate tower. Back when he broke out of the Scarlet Blood prison, he had obtained this painting. Everyone else's paintings had exploded. Only Xiao Chen's painting remained intact. The painting had changed from the original Scarlet Blood Frost Flame to the current one. A lotus-shaped Scarlet Blood Frost Flame floated above a huge palm. The entire painting was very strange. Xiao Chen had not been able to store it in his universe ring. Originally, he had forgotten about it. However, every time he entered the bathtub, he would have to remove his clothes. Only then did he discover this painting tied to his chest. I should go and ask Ling Yu. See if she knows what this is. It has been 4 days. She should have more or less finished refining my palm sword. After storing the painting, Xiao Chen pushed open the door and headed for Ling Yu's room. Dong! 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 The door is not closed. You may come in. Xiao Chen knocked on the door a few times and heard Ling Yu's melodious voice. When Xiao Chen entered the room, the cauldron, which was as tall as 2 people, entered his eyes. There was an inattributed flame on the crystal board under the cauldron. The raging golden light flame mirror above his head also shone with a beam of golden light. The purple mark on Ling Yu's forehead glistened brightly. She stared at the cauldron and did not look at Xiao Chen. It looks like this is not the right time. When Xiao Chen saw this, he knew that he should not disturb her. So, he stopped and prepared to leave. Don't go. It is almost done. Just wait a little longer, Ling Yu said softly as she stared at the cauldron. Xiao Chen stopped and casually sat on a chair at the side. Then, he watched with interest. Xiao Chen felt anticipation in his heart. He wanted to know how strong the palm sword would become after Ling Yu tempered it. The people of the Immortal sect used cauldrons to refine magic treasures and medicinal pills. Xiao Chen was familiar with the compendium of cultivation and was very familiar with this. However, the secret treasures of the Tianmu continent were refined using cauldrons. Although secret treasures and magic treasures were similar, there were still differences. Xiao Chen did not know if using the method of refining magic treasures to strengthen secret treasures was difficult for Ling Yu. The expression on Ling Yu's face became increasingly grave. A purple light flickered on her fair fingers. She quickly formed hand seals and the purple light flickered continuously, illuminating the room. Boom! After Ling Yu finished forming the hand seals, the lid of the cauldron suddenly opened. A 3-inch short sword flew out from the cauldron. A purple flame burned on the sword. Ling Yu shouted and the short sword immediately lengthened, becoming a 1-meter-long sword. When the sword trembled, it gave off a melodious hum. The gentle purple flame turned into strands of purple sword light and shot out from the sword. They flashed in the air and the temperature in the room immediately soared. Go! Ling Yu pointed and the sword flew at Xiao Chen. It was very fast, like a bolt of lightning. In the blink of an eye, it arrived before the tip of Xiao Chen's nose. He did not even have a chance to react. The instant the tip of the sword flew over, Xiao Chen clearly felt a dangerous aura in his heart. He nearly thought that he would be pierced through by this sword. When Xiao Chen felt the power of his bloodline in the sword, he smiled gently. He stretched out his hand and the sword hilt flew into his hand. With a thought, the sword quickly shrank to the size of a palm. Xiao Chen directed the palm sword to dance around the room. Everywhere the short sword passed, a fierce purple flame burned and there was a faint flicker of lightning. Not only was it faster, but its might was also much stronger than before. What was even rarer was that it now had its own attributes. It was no longer just a simple sharp blade. As Xiao Chen held the short sword in his hand, he had an extremely happy expression on his face. He said seriously, "It has been hard on you, Ling Yu." Ling Yu set up the cauldron and smiled gently, "It is not hard at all. Secret treasures are modified from magic treasures. They are mainly for cultivators without magic energy to use. They are a smaller version of magic treasures. I've used the materials you gave me to refine this palm sword. It's even tougher than your heaven-ranked soul weapons. Then, I attached a formation to it to increase the explosive power of the short sword. Finally, I infused all the lightning-attributed fire in the raging golden light flame mirror into it. This little secret treasure of yours has been reborn." Xiao Chen could not hide the smile on his face. He touched the smooth lightning patterns on the sword. The more he looked, the more he liked it. He said, "This can no longer be called the palm sword. You should give it a new name." Chapter 524. Ling Yu giggled and said, "I already thought about it for you. Even if you did not tell me, I would have told you." "What palm sword? That sounds awful. Let's call it the Thunder Fire Sword." Thunder Fire, good name. I will call it the Thunder Fire Sword." Xiao Chen fiddled with the Thunder Fire Sword for a while before reluctantly placing it back in his palm. After recovering his wits, Xiao Chen remembered the other purpose of this trip. He took out the painting and handed it to Ling Yu. "Take a look. Do you know what this is?" Ling Yu casually received the painting. At first, she did not care about it. However, after she unfurled the painting, her expression slowly turned grave. She said, "This is a void projection painting. Originally, it is blank. One can extract a scene from thin air and replicate it perfectly. This is a rare treasure even in the Kunlun realm. Where did you get it? Did you get it from the heavenly pagoda?" "No, it is the ancient desolate tower. There are 9 floors in the tower. Every floor gives you some benefits. I obtained it on the 3rd floor." Ling Yu closed the painting and said, "That is the heavenly pagoda without a doubt. Each of the 3,000 great realms has a heavenly pagoda. Each realm has a different name. Thinking about it, this is the only place where you can obtain this void projection painting." Xiao Chen received the painting again. He did not dare to be interested in the origins of the ancient desolate tower. He asked, "What is the use of this void projection painting now?" Ling Yu explained, "Naturally, it is very useful. If you complete the blood sacrifice, you will be able to use the scarlet blood frost flame in this painting. If your mental energy is stronger, you can even suck in cultivators and trap them to death. Isn't the painting in fake? How can it be useful?" Ling Yu explained patiently, "I already said that it is a perfect replication. What is real and what is fake? If I make a clone of someone with your memories, your personality, and your personality, they will be exactly the same as you. His height, weight, and appearance are exactly the same as yours. The martial techniques he practices are also the same as yours. That person is also called Xiao Chen. No one can see through him. Tell me, Is he real or fake? Xiao Chen pondered for a moment. Just thinking about it made his hair stand on end. Everything was the same. No one could tell the difference. Even if it was fake, it would become real. Have you figured it out? This is how the scarlet blood frost flame is replicated. Of course, that person must have held back when absorbing the scarlet blood frost flame. It is impossible for him to replicate the might of the scarlet blood frost flame completely. Otherwise, he would have overdrawn his mental energy and died. Xiao Chen nodded and said, I've thought it through. Do you have a way to help me refine it with a drop of blood? Hearing Ling Yu say this, Xiao Chen immediately became excited. If he could really use this scarlet blood flame diagram, his strength would increase significantly. Ling Yu shook her head and said, if you have magic energy, you can use your blood to refine it. However, it is very simple. You just need to drip your own blood on it. But without magic power, it will be difficult. This thing is a magic treasure, not for you warriors. Xiao Chen was extremely disappointed. He could only look at such a good treasure but could not use it. This was very depressing. Xiao Chen did have a secret technique for immortal cultivation. However, he could not build a foundation or form a core in this realm. How could he cultivate magic energy? The immortal secret technique, the Purple Thunder Divine Incantation, cultivated mental energy and not magic energy. However, if you still have resources, I can form the 10,000 magic gathering formation and forcefully help you condense some magic energy. At that time, you can use your blood to refine it. Xiao Chen muttered, how many medial grade spirit stones do I need to buy those resources? Ling Yu already had a basic understanding of the prices of goods in this world. She calculated in her heart and said, however, 20 million medial grade spirit stones should be enough. Xiao Chen gaped slightly. He had an astonished expression on his face. After that, there was no after that. Xiao Chen had obtained the 3 million medial grade spirit stones after a series of bitter battles and coincidences. 20 million medial grade spirit stones was too large a sum. Unless Xiao Chen was as lucky as Bai Lishi, he would not be able to obtain it. After he sold off all the demonic beast materials he had on him and added in the hundreds of thousands of medial grade spirit stones that he could barely gather 1 million medial grade spirit stones. Wanting to gather 20 million medial grade spirit stones felt like a pipe dream. However, Xiao Chen still asked Ling Yu for the materials needed for the 10,000 magic gathering formation. Although the chances were slim, it did not mean that there was no chance. Now that he had advanced to Martial Monarch, it was still possible for him to obtain 20 million medial grade spirit stones. Xiao Chen removed the blood flame shoes and the black leather gloves on his hands. Then, he handed them to Ling Yu and said, help me strengthen these two secret treasures. Tell me what materials you need. Ling Yu received the blood flame shoes and the black leather gloves and said, you should only have about 100,000 medial grade spirit stones left, right? To refine these two secret treasures, you will need at least 1 million medial grade spirit stones. I have my ways. Just write down the list. Xiao Chen received the list of materials from Ling Yu and glanced at it. Then, he decisively went out. Xiao Chen went to the market and sold off the demonic beast materials in his universe ring, the miscellaneous items he obtained from the other cultivators, and some secret treasures that he had no use for. Xiao Chen finally obtained 1,100,000 medial grade spirit stones. Then, he bought a long list of natural treasures and all sorts of rare ores. Xiao Chen had spent all 1,100,000 medial grade spirit stones in an instant. He was now truly a pauper. I have brought the items. I will come back to collect them 3 days later. Sorry for the trouble. Xiao Chen handed the list of materials to Ling Yu. He appeared very determined. With the Thunder Flame sword as an example, Xiao Chen believed that the blood flame shoes and the black leather gloves would give him a pleasant surprise. Even if he became a pauper, he would not care. Xiao Chen's strength would increase visibly. Only by doing this could he gain the strength to fight with Bai Zhan in a short time. Back in the bedroom, Xiao Chen took out the jade bottle containing the exquisite 7 aperture fluid. Then, he slowly poured the golden liquid into the bathtub. Chee! Cracking sounds came from the bathtub. Soon, the clear water turned golden. Xiaochen observed for a while, waiting for the exquisite 7-aperture fluid to completely melt. After the exquisite 7-aperture fluid completely melted, Xiaochen took out a spirit-gathering pearl and refined it into a spiritual liquid. Then, he quickly poured it into the golden water in the bathtub. Xiaochen closed his eyes and waited for a while. He knew that it was time. He stopped looking at the scene in the bathtub and started to take off his clothes. Now that he had experienced this several times, he did not need to be as careful as he was the first time. Xiaochen leaped into the bathtub and sat down cross-legged. Soon, with the help of the exquisite 7-aperture fluid, all 320 acupoints in his body opened. The spiritual liquid that the spirit-gathering pearls turned into poured into Xiaochen in an endless stream. He closed his eyes and familiarly refined this vast spiritual energy into his own cultivation. The purple chi whirlpool gave off a resplendent light. It spun wildly like a tornado, greedily absorbing this vast spiritual energy. The chi whirlpool slowly grew larger. Xiaochen had only absorbed half of the spiritual liquid when the chi whirlpool stopped growing. Xiaochen rejoiced. He knew that his bottleneck was approaching. If a regular person felt a bottleneck, they would be very upset. This was because once they reached a bottleneck, they would be stuck for at least a year and a half. It would be hard for them to advance their cultivation. If their mentality was not good and they did not have any natural treasures, they would be stuck at this bottleneck for 4 to 5 years, or even more than 10 years. However, Xiaochen was not vexed at all. He had the spirit-gathering pearls. He had a foundation that ordinary people could not compare to. What was even rarer was that he had failed once. He knew that even if he failed when using the spirit-gathering pearls, he would only be severely injured. This was because he had 24 acupoints that he could open and close freely. As for the other geniuses, they did not have 20 acupoints. If they failed, they would die. Even if they had a spirit-gathering pearl, they would not dare to risk using it. The next day, Xiaochen absorbed another spirit-gathering pearl. He had completely used up the exquisite 7-aperture fluid. This time, the purple chi whirlpool did not increase in size. However, the number of crystals outside the chi whirlpool increased slightly. Xiaochen tried to cultivate again. Like before, his cultivation did not increase at all. The bottleneck between medial-grade Martial King and superior-grade Martial King had truly arrived. If I cultivated normally, I would need at least half a year to reach the bottleneck of medial-grade Martial King. The 6 spirit-gathering pearls saved me half a year of time. The gap has shrunk again. Xiaochen clenched his fist tightly as he spoke with a resolute expression. On this day, Xiaochen did not do anything. He just lay on his bed and slept. The next day, he did not do anything either. He rested his mind and spirit, preparing to break through the bottleneck of superior-grade Martial King in one breath. On the third night, Xiaochen finally made a move. He got up from his bed. After sleeping for 2 days and 2 nights, his mind, chi, and spirit were completely replenished. Sitting on the prayer mat on the floor, Xiaochen took out the 6 inferior-grade spirit-gathering pearls from the universe ring and placed them on his head. Then, he used the purple fire to slowly refine them. Regular people only needed 3 spirit-gathering pearls to break through. However, Xiaochen's foundation was much stronger than others. Naturally, it would be much harder for him to break through. He even worried that 6 spirit-gathering pearls would not be enough. After 7 or 8 minutes, the 6 spirit-gathering pearls had all turned into spiritual liquid. The leaking spiritual energy instantly spread throughout the room. A pure white mist shone on Xiaochen, making him look very hazy. The white mist condensed on the ceiling beams, the vase, the table, and the bed. Immediately, drops of dew formed. This was dew formed from pure spiritual liquid. It was incredibly precious. However, at this moment, it filled Xiaochen's room. At first, Xiaochen took a deep breath and relaxed. Then, He controlled a clump of spiritual liquid and placed it on his Tianmen acupoint. The moment the spiritual liquid fell, it flowed along the main meridian. It was like a huge river carrying the force of tens of thousands of horses galloping. That force, that aura, it was like a magnificent army. It kicked up a cloud of sand as it surged over. No one could block the knight's sword. With his previous experience, Xiaochen did not panic. He quietly waited for the moment he crashed into the barrier. Boom! In merely a moment, the spiritual liquid crashed into the purple chi whirlpool, creating an intense explosion. The unmoving bottleneck loosened slightly. However, it was only a slight loosening. The qi and blood in Xiao Chen's body surged as he endured the pressure. Xiao Chen roared in his heart, still not enough. Again. Boom. Another stream of spiritual liquid fell down and exploded with a bang. Not enough, again. Chapter 525. Xiao Chen had a grave expression. Blood leaked out of the corner of his lips as he controlled the spiritual liquid to pour it down. He did not hesitate at all. Xiao Chen's expression did not change, he showed no fear. He was resolute and decisive. There was only one thought in his mind, to break through the bottleneck that ordinary people had been stuck for 10 or 20 years in one go. This was because Xiao Chen was not an ordinary person. He was not. He was a one-in-a-million genius. He was the white-robed bladesman who had never been defeated. He was the peak genius of this budding age of geniuses who could contend with the heavens. In this age of geniuses, geniuses from all walks of life were like the stars in the sky. There were countless heroes from all walks of life, like carps crossing the river. Cultivators were hot-blooded and had lofty aspirations. In this age of geniuses, they could endure the loneliness and the temptation. They dared to fight with the heavens, with the earth, with men. How could they show any fear? Boundless hot-bloodedness and lofty aspirations. They only asked the heavens one question: will I, Xiao Chen, reach the peak? If the heavens do not answer, then I will break the heavens. Will I, Xiao Chen, reach the peak? Boom! 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 Explosions rang out continuously in the qi whirlpool. The shock waves caused his internal organs to sustain severe injuries. However, Xiao Chen did not relax or have any intention of giving up. When the last clump of spiritual liquid fell into the qi whirlpool, the entire qi whirlpool exploded into primal chaos. Pure spiritual energy surged out and spread throughout Xiao Chen's body. He immediately felt refreshed. The injuries in his chest were all healed in an instant. Xiao Chen waited until the chaos slowly regained its clarity. He sank his consciousness into the purple qi whirlpool. At this moment, half of it was gaseous, while the other half was a crystalline purple crystal. Superior grade Martial King. I succeeded. Xiao Chen opened his eyes joyfully, and they gleamed. His eyes were as clear as crystal, they were incomparably bright in the white fog. Xiao Chen opened his mouth and sucked in all the white fog and spiritual dew in the room. The martial Tao is difficult. My path is even more difficult than that of ordinary people. However, I managed to break through to superior grade Martial King. Xiao Chen said softly with a faint smile on his face as he sensed the pure and explosive yuan qi within the purple crystal cyclone. Pushing open the door, Xiao Chen headed straight for Ling Yu's room. There were 2 refined mid-grade secret treasures waiting for him there. Ling Yu took out the black leather gloves from the cauldron. When she saw Xiao Chen enter, she immediately smiled and said, "Congratulations, you succeeded. You did not die from the explosion of the spirit-gathering pearls." Xiao Chen was in a good mood, so he did not mind Ling Yu's teasing. He took the black leather gloves and blood flame shoes from Ling Yu and put them on. Xiao! Before Ling Yu could introduce the wondrous uses of the 2 new secret treasures, the 2 of them felt a chill descend from the sky at the same time. This chill passed through the windows and entered their bodies, making them feel very cold. Something's happened. Xiao Chen was shocked. The big event that he had predicted might really happen. The two of them quickly went out and looked up. They saw the distant horizon. A scarlet full moon had appeared at some point in time. It slowly rose and broke through the pitch-black demonic clouds, sending down a boundless light. Roar! 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 Loud roars came from the deep-sea battlefield, sounding like they could topple mountains and flip the seas. The sound waves were vast and mighty. Even from far away, they could feel the air trembling. Xiao Chen's expression changed slightly. He looked at the rising scarlet moon in the sky and muttered, "Scarlet moon, this is a real scarlet moon. What's going on?" Ling Yu's expression did not change. She said calmly, "This is the demonic spirit scarlet moon. Once a demon appears, its strength will increase significantly. The blood in its body will surge, becoming ferocious and berserk. It is very difficult to deal with." Xiao Chen felt it was strange. He asked, "Then why are you not reacting at all?" Ling Yu smiled and said, "What reaction can I have? However, when this light shone on me, my strength increased by at least 20%. What causes the demonic spirit scarlet moon to appear? Do you know what it means?" Xiao Chen asked Ling Yu. She was an advanced demon. She should know some of the secrets behind this. When the outstanding talents of the boundless sea returned to rest at the same time, Xiao Chen had already felt that something was wrong. Indeed, in less than half a month, this mysterious scarlet moon rose into the sky. Ling Yu shook her head and said, "The demonic spirit scarlet moon exists in the starry heaven's end. During the demonic calamity, demons will use the blood of 10,000 virgins to summon the demonic spirit scarlet moon to strengthen the demons. If no one summons it, it will appear once every 3,000 years. After that, it will appear every month for about half a year. As for what it means, you will know very soon." At this moment, all the cultivators on the divine dragon worship felt that icy chill. They all rushed out of their rooms and were astonished when they saw the scarlet moon in the distance. Many figures leaped from roof to roof, rushing towards the deep-sea battlefield. Everyone felt that something was wrong. Xiao Chen followed the crowd and rushed forward as well. He wanted to see what was happening. The edge of the giant ship, which was also the direction of the bow, was already filled with people. As they got closer, they could hear the roars of the demon dwellers even more clearly. Xiao Chen floated in the air and looked ahead. He could not help but frown. 3 huge pillars of light soared into the sky from the 3 outpost islets in front. Talisman scripts appeared around the pillars of light, linking the formations on the 3 outpost islets together and forming a barrier flickering with blue light. Behind the barrier, there were countless demonic humans gathered. All 18 types of demonic humans had gathered together, and the number of each type of demonic humans was extremely large. The iron demons with the strongest defense were at the very front. They acted as meat shields among the demons. 4,000 iron demons lined up like a human wall. They blocked all the ancient demonic energy cannons from the 3 outpost islets with their bodies. Behind the iron demons was an unending chain of flaming clouds. The red flaming clouds were more than 5,000 meters long. Many fire demons stood on top of them, sending all sorts of strong attacks at the barrier. Behind them were ice devils, winged devils, ghost race, blood devils, all 18 kinds of devils were present. They gathered together and let out heaven-shaking roars. They were like an army as they ferociously attacked the blue barrier. Under the unceasing attacks, the blue barrier that supported the sky began to ripple like water mist. If this continued, the barrier would be broken sooner or later. Once the divine dragon warship was destroyed, the 3 outpost islets would fall, which would directly threaten the divine dragon warship. Once the divine dragon warship was destroyed, the 3rd-grade battlefield would go out of control. The millions of humans on the islands behind would have to migrate. The losses would be immeasurable. How can it be like this? The demons in the periphery and the inner area have all gathered together. All of them are at least 20% stronger than usual. This won't do. If this continues, the outpost islets will fall sooner or later. We will also lose the divine dragon warship. We will all lose our lives. Where are the Divine Dragon Palace's people? Why do I not see them? Where did they go? Are you stupid? The elites of the Divine Dragon Palace are all in the core islands, guarding the high-ranked demons. Otherwise, how would we have the opportunity to hunt demons in the periphery and inner area? Any high-ranked demon would be able to kill us. Xiao Chen was not the only one who thought of the consequences of losing the outpost islets. The many cultivators on the Divine Dragon warship thought of it as well. Xiao Chen, you are right. If we were still in the inner area, we would not be able to stand here. When Bai Lishi saw Xiao Chen in the air, he immediately flew over. He said with a cautious expression, "What should we do? Should we retreat in advance?" I think several people are thinking the same thing. They are already making preparations. Xiao Chen looked around and discovered that this was indeed the case. The people at the front of the warship had already disappeared. These people had all flown into the air, their eyes flickering as they retreated far away. Such a phenomenon was no exception. There was life and death in the experiential training. However, there was still a chance of survival. If the outpost islets fell, the demons would attack. Under the illumination of the blood moon, there would be no hope of survival against the demons, whose strength had increased explosively. Furthermore, there was a large number of them. Furthermore, the survival of the Divine Dragon Palace did not have much to do with these people. It was not their own sect, so there was no need to throw their lives away. Xiao Chen's expression remained calm. He smiled faintly and said, "There is no rush. Although the inner sect experts of the Divine Dragon Palace are on the core islets, don't forget about the southern seas for heroes, the northern seas for young masters, the western seas 7 knights, and the eastern seas Little Dragon King. They are all half-step martial monarchs and above. 10 odd half-step martial monarchs are a significant force. I believe that the Divine Dragon Palace summoned them back for this." Bai Lishi analyzed the situation and felt that Xiao Chen's words made sense. He chuckled and said, "I was the one who panicked. If that is the case, this is a fortuitous encounter for us. To the weak, it would be pretty good if they could preserve their lives in such a dangerous situation. However, to the strong, as long as there was a chance to fight, the endless number of demons would be a large number of points, an endless source of wealth." Confidence appeared in Xiao Chen's heart. A faint light appeared in his eyes. He had a resolute expression and said calmly, "That's right. With so many demons, it would take a lot of effort to find them. Now that they are all gathered together, we can save a lot of effort. If this is not a fortuitous encounter, what is?" During the instant Xiao Chen spoke, a strong aura spread out from his body. Bai Lishi, who was beside him, immediately felt pressure. This was because Bai Lishi had just advanced to superior grade Martial King. His essence was vast and pure, but he had not tempered it carefully. Hence, he could not control the spiritual energy as he wished. After a period of time, after tempering his essence, such a situation would not occur. Bai Lishi said in shock, "Xiao Chen, you advanced to superior grade Martial King?" Xiao Chen had a deep gaze and a resolute expression. He nodded and said, "Yes, I just advanced. I already made a great vow on this battlefield. I will not leave until I advance to half-step martial monarch." Dong! 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 As the two spoke, the rumbling of horses' hooves came from behind. The neighing of horses mixed with the sound of hooves, sounding like thunder. When the sound reached everyone's ears, their minds buzzed. Their chi and blood surged involuntarily, and they had to circulate their energies to cover their ears. Chapter 526. What a strong horse! Unexpectedly, it can achieve such might with just its voice. Xiao Chen turned his head and saw a scarlet warhorse galloping over from the distance. The warhorse had a golden horn on its head and a ferocious, glowing red light in its eyes. The fur on its body glowed scarlet. As it galloped, its fur bounced up and down. There was a faint flicker of light. Along the way, there were countless blurry scarlet horse figures, making it impossible to determine the horse's true position. A person wearing purple battle armor and a purple dragon cloak stood on the warhorse. He held a 2-meter-long halberd in his hand. This person carried an overwhelming fighting spirit as he rushed to the bow of the warship. His sharpness was unstoppable. There seemed to be a formless tyrannical aura coming from his Tianmen acupoint, splitting the black demonic clouds above him in half. It's the Eastern Sea's little dragon king, Shenyuan Zhantian. That is his mount, a rank 8 mixed-blood demonic beast, the royal dragon horse. Startled cries came from the crowd. When they saw Shenyuan Zhantian arrive in an instant, they all made way for him, opening a path for him to jump off the warship without any obstruction. Bang! 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 The royal dragon horse stepped on the scarlet sea like it was on flat ground. Its 4 hooves kicked up a huge splash. There were no longer any obstructions when it leaped into the scarlet sea. The royal dragon horse moved at full speed, like a tornado. It instantly reached Mach 4 and arrived at the outpost islets in the blink of an eye. However, the royal dragon horse did not slow down at all. It continued to charge forward ferociously. Finally, the royal dragon horse roared ferociously and carried Shenyuan Zhantian through the blue barrier, landing among the iron demons. Bai Lishi muttered, "What an incredible fellow. He is going to start with the iron demons." Bang! After Shenyuan Zhantian leaped over the blue barrier, he held up the heavenly war halberd and thrust it forward. The halberd turned into an azure flood dragon and pierced into the iron demon's body. The iron demon's body was tougher than 1,000-year-old frost iron. Yet, Shenyuan Zhantian easily pierced it. One could easily imagine how sharp this halberd was. A dazzling light exploded from the tip of the halberd. The iron demon's transformation suddenly exploded, turning into countless metal shards that fell like rain. At the moment of the explosion, 990 small cyan flood dragon auras flew out along with the iron scraps, dancing in the air. The royal dragon horse gently leaped up and carried Shenyuan Zhantian away from the 4,000-odd iron demons' encirclement. When its 4 hooves landed on the water, they kicked up scarlet waves. Bang, bang, bang. Shenyuan Zhantian had not gone far when he suddenly turned around. His heavenly war halberd flashed 9 times and the 990 small azure flood dragons immediately returned to the halberd. Continuous explosions rang out and 6 iron demons were instantly blasted into pieces. Surging shockwaves spread out, causing the iron demons in the rear to be thrown off their feet. Shenyuan Zhantian laughed loudly and rode the royal dragon horse, a soul-blood demonic beast, back. The royal dragon horse's speed was as fast as lightning. The fur on its body flickered with a dazzling bloody light. It left blood-colored afterimages in the midst of the iron demons, making it hard for others to capture its figure. Waves surged on the scarlet sea. Azure light flickered, and flood dragons roared ferociously. Countless iron demons were blasted into pieces, dying without a complete corpse. 1 man, 1 horse, and 1 halberd, Shenyuan Zhantian charged in and out of the iron demons, sweeping through everything in his path. However, the iron demons could not even touch the corner of his clothes. Shenyuan Zhantian completely disrupted the iron demons' formation. The 1,000 ancient demonic energy cannons on the outpost islets finally revealed their ferocious side. Thousands of beams of light soared into the sky. Without the iron demons to block them, everywhere the beams of light passed, the demons were blasted into pieces. A rain of blood fell from the sky. Under the illumination of the scarlet moonlight, the rain of blood fell. Together with the thousands of demons, the scene was extremely majestic. These are ancient demonic energy cannons fired using superior-grade spirit stones. 1 shot would exhaust 100 superior-grade spirit stones. I estimate that they can fire 5 rounds at most. Ling Yu, who was at the side, pointed out the crux of the matter and calmly analyzed it. Xiao Chen sighed softly, 5 rounds is enough. This Shenyuan Zhantian is really incredible. He managed to break through the iron demon's formation by himself. That is equivalent to turning the situation around by himself. Earlier, because of the iron demons blocking the ancient demonic energy cannons, the ancient demonic energy cannons on the outpost islets became mere decorations. The iron demons did not feel pain and had strong defenses. If the ancient demonic energy cannon struck them, they would just be wasting spirit stones. The gains did not make up for the losses. Ling Yu smiled and said, "What is so amazing about him? It is all thanks to that horse. Without that horse, no matter how powerful he is, if the iron demons surrounded him, he would still die." Xiao Chen said calmly and objectively, "The horse is amazing, but the man is even more amazing. When the man and horse work together, they are even more incredible. The title of Eastern Sea's Little Dragon King is indeed well-deserved. That royal dragon horse was indeed incredible." Xiao Chen had heard from the others that it was a warhorse mixed between a spirit beast and a demonic beast, a mutated species. Its speed was astonishing. Even with Xiao Chen's eyesight, he could only catch a blurry figure. He could not determine its exact position. If Xiao Chen could not even catch the iron demon's position in a fight, there would be no point in fighting. However, Xianyuan Zhantian's offensive power was even more amazing. Xiao Chen had a deep understanding of the iron demon's defenses and life force. There was no way he could kill them in one strike. With Xianyuan Zhantian's horrifying offensive power, he was worthy of the title of a peak genius. When man and horse worked together, he could sweep through all the geniuses of the younger generation. Bai Lishi laughed loudly and said, "What's wrong? You just advanced to superior grade Martial King, and you already suffered such a setback. Brat, don't tell me you have lost your confidence?" Xiao Chen shook his head and smiled. "Ha ha. It is encouragement, not a loss of confidence. Let's go, it is time for us to make an appearance." While Xiao Chen spoke, the ancient demonic energy cannons had already fired 5 rounds. The Southern Sea's 4 heroes, the Northern Sea's 4 young masters, and the Western Sea's 7 knights all charged in. When the cultivators on the warship saw their opportunity, they all leaped out excitedly, charging towards the battlefield. When the warship approached the blue barrier, Xiao Chen and Bai Lishi split up. They each found a breakthrough point and charged over, searching for their own fortuitous encounters. This time, Xiao Chen chose to fight the fire demons that previously reduced him to a sorry state. Now that their strength had increased significantly, if he still could not defeat these fellows, then he would have wasted the past half-month of cultivation. Who? The moment Xiao Chen landed, 10 odd fire demons noticed him. Fireballs covered the sky and fell like rain. When Xiao Chen saw the fireballs falling, he quickly drew the lunar shadow saber. Essence gathered on the saber, forming a resplendent saber light. However, he did not rush to send it out. Bang! 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 Xiao Chen chopped every fireball flying at him in half. Xiao Chen felt that his attack speed was 20% faster than before. When facing the dense fireballs, Xiao Chen did not feel any pressure at all. He dealt with them very easily. With a thought, the saber light chopped the fireballs in half. The goal of your black leather gloves is to increase your attack speed. I have refined 99 spiritual wind formations for you. They are sufficient to increase your attack speed by 40%. Even after you become a martial monarch, they will still be able to increase your attack speed by 20%. Ling Yu explained to Xiao Chen from within the spirit blood jade. So that's how it is. Xiao Chen smiled faintly. This way, it will be easier to deal with the fire demons. Xiao Chen did not move at all. He stood on the water and condensed a saber light on his saber, waiting for an opportunity. After a while, the relentless attacks of the fire demons finally paused. Xiao Chen seized this opportunity and did not hesitate to make his move. Glittering Mukue. The light condensed on the saber instantly turned into a dense saber chi. Then, it flew at a fire demon in the sky. Whoosh! Whoosh! The sharp saber light seemed like it was going to cut the air in half, giving off a buzzing sound as it tore through the air. Flickering purple crystals flowed in the saber chi, making the saber chi look solid. It was much stronger than before. It was so fast that it disappeared. The fire demon that Xiao Chen locked onto did its best to dodge. However, one of its arms was still chopped off. I did not use saber intent or state for the strand of saber chi, and it already has such might. If I used both, its might would be 50% stronger. A scarlet light flickered in Xiao Chen's eyes as he used the state of massacre. He stopped probing and started the real massacre. Xiao Chen's figure flashed, leaving afterimages in the air. He dodged all the explosive attacks of the fire demons. I used black crystals, magic blood crystals, brilliant white steel, 1,000 mountains frost iron, and 90 other rare ores to refine your blood flame shoes. More importantly, I completely infused the secret techniques on them. Now, your movement speed can maintain at Mach 4 at all times. Xiao Chen entered deep thought. No wonder my speed is so ridiculously fast. It turns out that this is the reason. The advantage that the fire demons had over Xiao Chen was completely lost. Their explosive attacks could not hit him, and their dodging speed could not match his attack speed. They could only passively take a beating. After 7 or 8 minutes, 15 fire demons died under Xiao Chen's saber. They did not even have a chance to flee. It was a one-sided massacre. The fire demons do not have strong defenses. Their speed and attack speed cannot compare to mine, so I slaughtered them. This is reasonable. If I want to test out the true might of my saber chi, I have to find an iron demon. Furthermore, I have to find a high-ranked iron demon. After collecting the demon cores of the 15 fire demons, Xiao Chen did not become complacent. He continued to analyze the situation calmly. Xiao Chen swept his gaze across the chaotic battlefield and saw a group of cultivators surrounded by demons. Then, he fixed his gaze on them. There were all kinds of demons in that group. There were fire demons, ice demons, blood demons, and winged demons. However, the core was a high-ranked iron demon. Using the high-ranked iron demon as a shield, several dozen demons surrounded a team of 10. The human cultivators could not retaliate at all, they could only defend passively. If this continued, they would be destroyed sooner or later. Dang! 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 The weapons of the 3 cultivators at the front of the 10-man team shone brightly. All sorts of saber techniques hacked at the high-ranked iron demon, creating sparks. That high-ranked iron demon laughed loudly. Sparks flew everywhere, but it did not suffer any damage. Then, he charged forward in all directions, causing the troops to scatter without any order. The various demons circling above their heads rained down attacks on them, forcing the 10 to flee in all directions. Big brother, what should we do? We cannot break its defense at all. We should not have come to join in on the excitement. Originally, I thought that Xianyuan Zhantian lured away all the iron demons. Unexpectedly, we ran into a high-ranked iron demon here. Chapter 527. The leader of the group, a middle-aged cultivator, punched the iron demon back by more than 500 meters. When he saw the iron demon standing up as if nothing had happened, he said with an unsightly expression. Demons danced wildly, winds blew, and clouds churned. This was a feast for the strong but a grave for the weak. At this moment, the group of 10 was surrounded by the demons. They could not advance or retreat. The laughter of the demons filled their ears. I like that girl. Ha ha. Her skin is soft and tender. She will definitely be delicious to eat. Don't hurt her. I like that older fellow. He is chewy and has a high cultivation. After eating him, his strength will definitely soar. I want that fatso. He has a lot of oil. You have never eaten him before. You will never know how delicious he is. Gee. At this moment, the demons appeared to be very relaxed. They were like cats playing with mice, toying with the group of 10. When the 10 cultivators heard the words of the demons, their expressions turned increasingly unsightly. When they thought about how they were about to fall into the demon's stomach, they felt despair. Bang! Just at this moment, a saber chi infused with purple crystals and a saber intent with an inextinguishable sharpness streaked across the sky. The weapons of the bladesmen in the group of 10 buzzed when they felt the saber intense sharpness. They looked like they would struggle free at any moment. In an instant, 3 blood demons and a winged demon were sliced in half by this saber chi. Streams of black blood fell to the ground. Saber intent. Materialized saber chi. An expert is coming. Everyone's spirits jolted as they looked in the direction of the saber chi. They saw a white figure on the scarlet sea, flashing over quickly. The figure moved very fast, leaving behind white afterimages on the water. In a few blinks of an eye, he arrived before the group. A high-ranked blood demon circled in the air. A red light flashed in its eyes, and a greedy expression flashed in its eyes. What a strong chi and blood! If I consume it, I might be able to evolve again. Roaming Dragon's 9 transformations, clear wind chop. Seeing the demons swooping down from the sky, Xiao Chen's figure flashed and turned into 9 afterimages. 9 cool breezes blew across the calm sea. The cool breeze concealed Xiao Chen's overwhelming killing intent. Even the weapon in his hand disappeared in an instant. Cool breeze, only seeing the cool breeze and not the saber. Bang! The 9 figures merged together. Before the 9 demons behind Xiao Chen could react, a bloody mark appeared on their foreheads. A purple light appeared, and the bloody mark split the demons in half. Kill him! The other demon dwellers were both shocked and enraged. They surrounded Xiao Chen and locked him down with killing intent. When the other cultivators on the water saw this, they immediately paled. No matter how strong you were, once you were surrounded by a large number of demons, only death awaited you. It's over. This youth is too careless. If he had worked together with us, we would have been able to kill our way out, the middle-aged cultivator leading the group of 10 said with a pale complexion after seeing his life extinguished in an instant. However, reality startled everyone. The white-robed bladesman, who was entangled in the air by the demons, did not show any signs of panic despite all the powerful attacks coming at him. The white-robed bladesman brandished his saber and his white robes fluttered. Not only did he receive all the attacks, but he even launched a sharp counterattack, dazzling everyone. Flight on wings, disordered dance of 1,000 years. Suddenly, Xiao Chen shouted and executed a move that he had not used for a long time, disordered dance of 1,000 years. In that instant, Xiao Chen's figure flickered in the air like a phantom. Strands of purple crystalline saber chi danced around chaotically. Bang! By the time Xiao Chen withdrew his saber and landed back on the Scarlet Sea, half of the demons surrounding him had died. The purple crystalline saber chi had chopped the demons into several pieces. Not even their bones remained as they died in the Scarlet Sea. This person is a genius cultivator. The crowd exclaimed in shock. Unexpectedly, aside from the outstanding talents of the Boundless Sea and the Evil Moon Pavilions by Zhan, there was another genius cultivator. Xiao Chen glanced at the stunned crowd. He frowned slightly and said, "Still not leaving?" When the group heard Xiao Chen's words, they were slightly stunned. When they understood that Xiao Chen was helping them, they quickly nodded and said, let's go. We will leave immediately." "Many thanks, young hero. You want to leave? How can it be that easy? Iron Demon, scatter them. None of them can escape." The old blood demon leading the group ordered coldly with a sullen expression as he looked at the group below. "Xiao!" The Iron Demon pushed off the water with his feet. He did not use any technique as he shouted and dashed on the water. He was like a surging train charging at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen's expression turned cold as he said in a frosty voice, "Scram." Xiao Chen kicked out and merged his essence and vital qi. A surging force burst out and the Iron Demon flying over was knocked back like a cannonball. It tumbled for a kilometer before it stopped. The 10-man team quickly took advantage of this opportunity to flee in the direction of the 3 outpost islets. They no longer dared to interfere in this situation. "Let's deal with this group of demons first. Later, I will go and find that high-ranked Iron Demon as an experiential training." Xiao Chen looked coldly and emotionlessly at the remaining 50 demons in the sky. A red light flickered in his eyes, but his heart remained calm. This was the effect of the state of massacre. By maintaining calm and slowly increasing the might of the state of massacre, one day, one would be able to grasp the state of massacre and not fall into depravity. Kill! Xiao Chen shouted, and the murderous intent that he had been suppressing in his eyes surged out. The horrifying murderous intent seemed to solidify the air. The demons in the air paused for a moment. They were astonished in their hearts. This human cultivator's killing intent was more than twice as strong as theirs. Taking advantage of the moment the demons were stunned, Xiao Chen flew up. His crystalline saber chi contained saber intent. In the blink of an eye, he chopped 3 demons in half. Boom! 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 As the demons died one after another, an invisible red light surged towards Xiao Chen's forehead. This caused Xiao Chen's state of massacre to become even more condensed. The killing intent was like a viscous substance spreading in the air, causing the remaining demons to slow down significantly. It felt like with every step they took, a boundless killing intent poured into their minds, putting great pressure on their minds. As the might of the state of massacre increased, the lives of the demons died under Xiao Chen's saber. The desire to massacre permeated the demons unknowingly. Kill, kill, kill them all. The more you kill, the stronger you become. You should feel the charm of massacre now. Look at these demons. Before the state of massacre, they could not even last 10 moves. Similar thoughts raged in Xiao Chen's mind like a storm, bursting out continuously, trying to make him lose himself in the state of massacre. The desire to massacre descended once again, trying to pull Xiao Chen into an abyss of massacre that he would never be able to escape from. Ling Yu, who was in the spirit blood jade, sighed silently. She had already made her preparations to leave at any moment. In her opinion, the path that Xiao Chen wanted to take was too difficult. There was almost no chance of success, it was a path of no return. The Scarlet Throne was an ancient secret treasure. It was incredibly mysterious. As the number of massacres increased, its strength would soar continuously. There was almost no limit to its growth. As a martial king, Xiao Chen wanted to subdue that power. This was too ambitious. However, this time, Ling Yu was somewhat surprised. After the deaths of the 50-odd demons, Xiao Chen did not fall into a state where he could not extricate himself. The red light in Xiao Chen's eyes faded away, replaced by clarity. He allowed the killing intent from the demons' corpses to turn into a red light and enter his forehead. Then, he calmly headed for the iron demon in the distance. Dang! A purple saber light gathered on the saber as Xiao Chen chopped at the fleeing iron demon. The saber blade created a series of sparks on the high-ranked iron demon's body. However, it did not cause any substantial damage. The high-ranked iron demon's defense is indeed strong. Now that its strength has increased greatly, even with 50% of my strength, I still cannot leave a mark on it, Xiao Chen muttered to himself as he withdrew his saber and looked at it. Roar! The iron demon roared and punched at the muttering Xiao Chen with its huge fist. Xiao Chen tilted his body slightly and casually dodged the iron demon's attack. Then, he hacked at the iron demon from behind. Chi! Chi! This time, Xiao Chen's saber cut the high-ranked iron demon's body, leaving a 3-centimeter-long mark. I need 70% of my strength to break its defense. 100% should be enough. Xiao Chen turned around and quickly spun around on the Scarlet Sea. In the blink of an eye, he arrived before the iron demon, which had run 100 meters away. Then, he did not hesitate to hack down with his saber. Paw! The saber light flickered. Xiao Chen used 100% of his strength and easily chopped off the iron demon's right arm. Try condensing more saber intent. The high-ranked iron demon was like a puppet in Xiao Chen's hands. It cried out in frustration, but it could not do anything about it. Bang! The lunar shadow saber flickering with purple light instantly stabbed into the high-ranked iron demon's chest. With the support of the saber intent, the saber easily penetrated the iron demon's chest. The iron demon did not feel any pain. It roared ferociously and punched at Xiao Chen's head. With a thought, a steady stream of purple crystalline essence poured into the saber. Xiao Chen shouted, "Explode!" Boom! The surging Yuan Qi instantly exploded. When the high-ranked Iron Demon's cold fist was only half a centimeter from Xiao Chen's head, its entire body shattered, turning into countless pieces flying into the air. Xiao Chen waved his hand and casually grabbed a piece of the Iron Demon's corpse. It was about the size of his palm and as hard as steel. It felt cold to the touch. The power of Shenyuan Zhantian's halberd could also shatter the Iron Demon into pieces. However, the pieces were like powder. Xiao Chen was far from comparable to this. I already used 100% of my strength in this attack. I even solidified my saber intent and state of massacre. However, the might of the explosion is far weaker than Shenyuan Zhantian's. Qi! Qi! Xiao Chen casually crushed the piece of metal in his hand into powder. Then, he revealed a contemplative expression. It looks like I can only reach that level after advancing to half-step martial monarch. This high-ranked Iron Demon allowed me to gain a better understanding of my offensive prowess. Suddenly, Ling Yu's astonished voice came from the spirit blood jade. Xiao Chen, you successfully grasped the state of massacre? Xiao Chen nodded. Then, he shook his head and said, I can't be considered to have grasped it yet. I can only say that I got a feeling for it and gained some understanding of it. Perhaps the essence of the state of massacre is not death or destruction. There is another meaning to it. Chapter 528. Ling Yu asked suspiciously, what do you mean? Xiao Chen said indifferently, without massacres, there would be no new order in this world. Winter passes and spring comes. The spring wind blows away the boundless cold of winter and brings the beginning of reincarnation to the world. Everything revives, and the flowers bloom with the warmth of spring. Hence, the essence of massacres is not death or destruction but rebirth. Just like my earlier massacre. While I slaughtered the demons, I saved 10 of my human companions. This is the will of life. Ling Yu, who was in the spirit blood jade, was extremely astonished. In her long life, this was the first time she had heard of such a strange theory. Xiao Chen actually comprehended the even more profound state of life from the state of massacre. There were countless states in the world. However, there were some states that were publicly recognized as higher states. For example, massacre, destruction, ruin, lust, illusion, despair, pain, and so on. Above the higher states, there were 4 publicly recognized peak states: life and death, yin-yang, and space-time. After Xiao Chen said this, he suddenly gained some comprehension. He finally realized what the 4-season saber technique Spring Thunder lacked. It lacked a strand of killing qi. For the sake of verifying his guess, Xiao Chen looked around and found the place where the demons were the most ravaged. Then, he killed his way there. Killing qi surged in Xiao Chen's mind, and his eyes turned scarlet. Every time a saber light flashed, a demon died at Xiao Chen's hands. However, Xiao Chen's heart was calm. He started to comprehend the state of life through massacres. He entered a state of selflessness. Big brother, is this the brat you were talking about? He does not seem very strong. Although his aura is long and continuous, he is only a superior grade martial king in the end. At some point in time, the Northern Sea's 4 young masters had gathered 3 kilometers behind Xiao Chen. They stared at Xiao Chen, who was fighting a demon to the death. The one who spoke was the blue-robed young master. As he looked at the white-robed Xiao Chen, he did not seem to care. I alone can deal with such a person. Furthermore, Big Brother is a great perfection half-step martial monarch genius cultivator. However, the Zishan young master on the far right shook his head slightly and said, Third brother, you are oversimplifying things. He comprehended the state of massacre and saber intent at such a young age. How could he be so easy to deal with? In terms of one-on-one combat, apart from Big Brother, none of us can say that we have a 70% chance of winning against him. The green-robed young master withdrew his gaze. He now had an understanding of Xiao Chen's strength. He revealed a cruel smile and said, "However, there is no such thing as fairness in this world. Let's go, there is nothing more to see. Come back in 3 days to take his life." On the castle-like divine dragon warship, Fengbuyu, who was in charge of this level 3 battlefield, stood in the void and gazed at the distant blood moon. Beside him was an old man with white hair and eyebrows. He muttered, "When the blood moon appears, the divine weapon will appear. There will be a blue dragon breaking through the 9 heavens." 5,000 years ago, the old dragon king left these 3 sentences before he died. He said that this was a great opportunity for the divine dragon palace and that the blue dragon palace would appear one day. Now that the blood moon has appeared, it might be true. Fengbuyu withdrew his gaze and said indifferently, "Don't overthink this. It is not the first time a blood moon has appeared in the history of a demon. Even the divine weapon has to guard the sect's luck. Who would take the risk to come here? We just need to guard this divine dragon warship and do what we are supposed to do." His Majesty, the Dragon King, did not take this prophecy too seriously. The white-haired old man had a grave expression as he said, "Even so, before a sage dies, there is a chance that he can jump out of the world and see through time and space. We have to be on guard." Fengbuyu smiled faintly and said, "Don't worry. His Majesty, the Dragon King, has already made arrangements. This matter is rather mysterious. It is better to believe it than not." The gazes of the two did not shift from the outpost islets to the frighteningly large number of demons. They only looked at the blood moon in the distance, as though they did not care about the demons at all. When the sky turned bright, the distant blood moon slowly sank into the Scarlet Sea. The demons, who had gone berserk for most of the night, left behind countless corpses before retreating like the receding tide. Before the blue barrier, all the cultivators heaved a sigh of relief. Then, they sat down on the surface of the sea, panting heavily. However, the eyes of the cultivators outside the barrier were filled with excitement. Although it had been a tough night, they were filled with excitement. Although it had been a tough night, their gains were equivalent to half a month of hard work. Their points soared rapidly, sufficient to exchange for countless good things. There were even some cultivators who broke through bottlenecks that they had been stuck at for many years in this intense battle. The smiles on their faces became even more radiant. Some people rejoiced while others were worried. While the strong were enjoying the feast of the demon wave, there were even more weak cultivators who left behind a large number of corpses on the surface of the sea. There were still many severely injured cultivators on the outpost islets, feeling sad and depressed. The most dazzling person in this battle was undoubtedly the Eastern Sea's little dragon king, Shenyuan Zhantian. 1 man, 1 horse, and 1 halberd, he was like the rebirth of a war god, using his own strength to turn the situation around. Equally dazzling were the outstanding talents of the Boundless Sea and the Evil Moon pavilions by Zhan. The number of demons that died at their hands exceeded 2,000 in one night. Once again, everyone felt the horrifying power of genius cultivators. Xiao Chen's results were equally gratifying. The number of demons that died at his hands reached 2,000. Unfortunately, he was far away from the crowd. Furthermore, with the dazzling genius cultivators, no one noticed him. When Ling Yu sensed Xiao Chen's clarity, she came out of the spirit blood jade. She said softly, "Congratulations, you have taken another step closer to grasping the state of massacre." Xiao Chen's expression did not change. He looked into the distance and sighed, "I am just 1 step short. Even if I did not succeed, I might not be able to take this step in my lifetime. I have to strike while the iron is hot. Let's go." Hence, as everyone rushed back to enjoy their victory and return to the divine dragon warship, Xiao Chen quietly set off to continue hunting demons. He was neither happy nor sad, calm and indifferent. 2 days later, Xiao Chen, who was only 5 kilometers away from the core island, had just killed a group of peak high-rank blood demons. However, he suddenly discovered that in front of him, there was a young martial artist in white clothes blocking his path. This was a crucial moment for Xiao Chen to comprehend the state of massacre. He did not want to cause any trouble, so he changed directions. However, he discovered a blue-robed cultivator blocking his way. Xiao Chen frowned slightly and ignored him. He changed directions again, heading north. However, his path was blocked again. It was a cultivator in green. Looking to the west, there was also another cultivator blocking his way. These four people had already blocked off all his paths of escape when he was hunting the demons. The Northern Sea's four young masters. After Xiao Chen saw the appearances of these four people, he could not help but feel suspicious. He could not remember when he became enemies with these people. The green-robed young master looked at Ling Yu, who was beside Xiao Chen. She wore a black and white robe and had a veil covering her face. His eyes immediately lit up. The green-robed young master had subdued many Eros demons and cultivated the joyous yin-yang incantation. He could not be more familiar with Eros demons. He could tell who she was with one look. The green-robed young master's lips curled up in a sinister smile. He said softly, "You are Xiao Chen, right? I have long heard of the great name of the white-robed bladesman. Now that I see you today, you are indeed extraordinary." Xiao Chen did not like the aura of the other party. All the more, he did not like the other party using such a method to block him. He did not have a good impression of this person. Xiao Chen said expressionlessly, "Whether I am or not, it has nothing to do with you. Don't block my way. Brat, are you seeking death? How dare you speak to my big brother like that? This is the boundless sea, and we are the Northern Sea's four young masters. With one word, we can make it difficult for you to move. You'd better be smart. What status do we have? What status do you have?" When the fourth-ranked white-robed young master heard Xiao Chen speak like that, he could not help but berate him. The green-robed young master smiled faintly and waved his hand to stop the white-robed young master. He looked at Xiao Chen and said, "Naturally, I can let you go. Hand over the Eros demon beside you, and I will give you 1,000,000 medial-grade spirit stones." After all, the other party was the Heavenly Extermination Union's alliance chief. The green-robed young master did not want to blow the matter up. It would be best if he could use spirit stones to settle this. The endless ocean was not like the continent. It might lack other things, but it definitely did not lack spirit stones. Xiao Chen remained unmoved and said calmly, "Not interested." The green-robed young master did not get angry. He smiled faintly and said, "Do you think it is too little? I will add another 1,000,000. If 2,000,000 is still not enough, I will add another 1,000,000. At the side, Ling Yu's heart tightened involuntarily. She looked up at Xiao Chen with some worry in her eyes. She knew that 3,000,000 medial-grade spirit stones was a large sum. Many martial kings would not be able to accumulate such a sum in their entire lives. In particular, Xiao Chen was currently penniless and was in urgent need of spirit stones. It was hard to say whether he would agree or not. When Ling Yu heard the other party offer 3,000,000 medial-grade spirit stones without hesitation, Xiao Chen was stunned. He revealed a self-mocking smile. He did not know when he would be able to use money to slap the other party's face. When the green-robed young master saw Xiao Chen's reaction, his eyebrows twitched. However, he understood something else. He said, "Hee. I understand what you mean. I will give you 3,000,000 medial-grade spirit stones. In addition, I will give you 2 Eros demons." Xiao. The green-robed young master waved his right hand. Right after he spoke, 4 Eros demons with seductive figures and revealing clothes appeared on the surface of the sea. Xiao Chen's expression did not change. He took half a step back without anyone noticing. In an instant, 3 sharp killing intents locked onto him. As long as Xiao Chen moved half a step, the attacks that they had prepared would topple the mountains and overturn the seas. They would attack him without hesitation. When the green-robed young master saw the situation, his face sank. He said in a cold voice, "Don't have any other thoughts. I have already tolerated you enough. Don't be so shameless when I give you face." Xiao Chen raised his eyelids slightly. There was a deep and calm look in his eyes. He seemed to hear the faint sound of a saber. "How boring. Do I need you to give me face? Ka Xie. Right after Xiao Chen spoke, the lunar shadow saber turned into a red bolt of lightning. It left the scabbard and gave off a resplendent beam of light as it charged at the green-robed young master. Chapter 529. Ling Yu heaved a sigh of relief. Then, she turned into a beam of dim light and entered the spirit blood jade. The green-robed young master was mildly astonished. He had not expected Xiao Chen to take the initiative to attack them under such circumstances. Furthermore, Xiao Chen had chosen him as the breakthrough point. The green-robed young master could not help but smile coldly to himself. How reckless! Unexpectedly, he dares to try and break out of my encirclement. I will block you first. When the other three surround you, you will be like a bird in a cage. Let's see how you fight back. Boom! Boom! The green-robed young master assumed a defensive stance. His surging essence spread out, causing the scarlet water behind him to churn endlessly and kicking up huge waves. Xiao Chen smiled faintly. Just as his saber was about a meter away from his opponent, he moved his feet and executed the blue dragon tail whip. Xiao Chen's position immediately changed. The Wukue breaks the heavens, which he had prepared for a long time, instantly flew at the unprepared white-robed young master. The scarlet light on the saber elongated quickly, moving as fast as lightning. Clearly, the white-robed young master had not expected Xiao Chen to have such a miraculous movement technique. In the time it took for a spark to fly, Xiao Chen could change his position in an incredible manner. The white-robed young master was startled. When he saw the sharpness of the scarlet light and its might, he subconsciously dodged to the side. After finding the breakthrough point, Xiao Chen immediately scattered his saber technique and quickly flew forward. The green-robed young master flushed red in anger. He looked at the white-robed young master and scolded, "What are you doing?" At the crucial moment, such a situation occurred. Would it kill you to block? The white-robed young master felt embarrassed at his own actions. He did not dare to retort. He lowered his head and said, "It's my fault. However, this brat cannot run fast. He will not be able to escape our grasp." The green-robed young master looked at Xiao Chen's back and said coldly, "Cut the crap. After him." The four of them soared into the air and executed their movement techniques. They quickly chased after Xiao Chen. Of the four, the green-robed young master was the strongest. He was also the fastest. He chased after Xiao Chen. When Xiao Chen felt the green-robed young master following closely behind him, he did not immediately use the blood flame shoes. Instead, he followed the green-robed young master at a leisurely pace. Against four half-step martial monarchs, Xiao Chen knew that he had no chance of victory. Hence, he wisely chose to leave. He would not joke around with his life. If the green-robed young master was the only one chasing him, Xiao Chen would not have to worry too much. He could give the green-robed young master an unforgettable surprise. The other party's cultivation was very deep, already a great perfection half-step martial monarch. However, Xiao Chen could tell that this person cultivated an unknown cultivation technique. Although his cultivation realm was high, his essence was not very condensed. Furthermore, it was incredibly vast, so there was no need to pay too much attention to it. The four young masters chased after him. As time passed, the gap between the green-robed young master and the other three young masters widened. This fellow's speed is too fast. We can't catch up to him. Let's just wait here for Big Brother's news. The white-robed young master stopped and panted slightly. He said, "Big Brother is already a great perfection half-step martial monarch. Capturing an insignificant superior-grade martial king should be easy. Even if something unexpected happens, he will be able to escape unscathed. Let's not waste our energy." The three of them chased after Xiao Chen at full speed, exhausting their essence. The other two thought about it and agreed. So, they stopped and rested where they were, using spirit stones to recover their essence. The green-robed young master, who was chasing alone, did not care about the other three falling behind. Although he valued Xiao Chen's strength, he did not treat him as a true opponent. Furthermore, Xiao Chen was slowing down. This put the green-robed young master in a very good mood. The difference in cultivation is too great. A superior grade martial king cannot compete with me in terms of essence. Xiao Chen, if you stop now and beg me for mercy, I will give you a chance to back out. The green-robed young master's arrogant voice came from behind. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and turned around, doing as the green-robed young master said. The green-robed young master revealed a sinister smile. He looked at Xiao Chen and said, "Your essence is insufficient. Now you know fear, right? Kneel and beg for mercy. Hand over the Eros demon, and I will spare your life." The purple crystalline chi whirlpool in Xiao Chen's body spun quickly. A surging and pure essence filled his entire body. Instead of getting angry, Xiao Chen laughed. He found the person before him very laughable. When the green-robed young master saw Xiao Chen's strange smile, he felt uncomfortable. He shouted angrily, "What are you laughing at? I will say it again. Kneel and beg me for mercy. Only then will I spare your life." Xiao Chen's expression turned cold. His gaze turned icy as he said, "I am laughing at you. You fell for a trap. Even at death's door, you are still arrogant and ignorant. How laughable." Towards the end, Xiao Chen unleashed his state of massacre without holding anything back. A cold wind blew on the surface of the sea, and a red light spread out. The air turned viscous, solid and oppressive. The Scarlet Sea was extremely calm, like ice, not moving at all. The green-robed young master, who faced the attack head-on, suddenly felt his mind buzz. His thoughts turned chaotic for a moment. Everything he saw, thought, and heard was despair, pain, massacre, and death. All sorts of negative emotions exploded in his mind. What a powerful state of massacre! The green-robed young master was horrified. He quickly bit the tip of his tongue, and the intense pain caused his eyes to clear up. However, this instant of distraction was sufficient for Xiao Chen to seize many opportunities. By the time the green-robed young master recovered his senses, the surging saber in Xiao Chen's hand was already less than a meter from his face. This startled the green-robed young master. He quickly executed his movement technique and retreated. However, he discovered that his movement technique, which could normally move 100 meters in an instant, was greatly weakened in this red light. He could only bring out about 50% of his usual strength. Left with no choice, the green-robed young master quickly drew out a vast amount of essence from his dantian and gathered it in his palm. It formed a jade-green ball of light and shot out. Bang! The crystal-like purple saber chi shattered the jade-green ball of light the moment it came into contact with it. The saber light struck the green-robed young master and sent him flying. On the surface of the water, the green-robed young master wiped the blood from the corner of his lips. His expression was one of extreme disbelief. In a contest of essence, the green-robed young master had defeated him. Even though the emerald green ball of light was something he had condensed in a hurry and wasn't his true strength, it was still impossible for him to unleash it. However, it was more than enough to block an attack from an upper grade. After all, there was a huge gap between their realms. However, reality slapped the green-robed young master in the face. Not only did the jade-green ball of light fail to block Xiao Chen's attack, but it also failed to block it. Instead, he was defeated by a single blow from Xiao Chen, causing him to suffer quite a few light injuries. More importantly, his momentum had fallen to the bottom. This kid is really troublesome. Boom boom boom. However, Xiao Chen did not give the green-robed young master much time to think. After his move succeeded, he immediately charged over with surging killing intent. The green-robed young master no longer dared to be careless. He brought out his state of water and used all his might to resist Xiao Chen's attack. The two started fighting on the surface of the water. When the shockwaves crashed into the boundless scarlet water, walls of water dozens of meters tall appeared. Splash! Splash! The scarlet water fell continuously. From a distance, it looked like it was raining blood around the two. The green-robed young master grew increasingly alarmed. Xiao Chen's crystal-like essence was much denser than his own. When the green-robed young master exhausted 10% of his essence, he would need to exhaust 40% or more before he could barely block the other party's attack. No, I cannot let him continue clashing head-on with me. If this continues, I will exhaust all my essence before he does. I have to end this quickly and escape first. Then, I can use a big move to decide the victor. The green-robed young master analyzed the situation anxiously. Originally, he planned to use his advantage in cultivation and vast essence as a foundation to drag out the other party. However, how could he have imagined that Xiao Chen's essence was so dense and pure? If he competed with Xiao Chen in exhaustion, the green-robed young master might end up losing. Berserk Flood Dragon roars. After the green-robed young master made up his mind, he no longer hesitated. He threw a palm strike, and an intense wave surged up on the Scarlet Sea. The wave was about 3 meters tall. The green-robed young master grabbed and pulled. Immediately, a flood dragon broke out of the scarlet wave and charged at Xiao Chen with bared fangs and brandished claws. However, the green-robed young master did not intend to see the results of the battle. After he executed the berserk flood dragon roars, his figure flashed backward, preparing to break away from Xiao Chen. He directly used a big move to end this battle. As long as he could use that ultimate move, he would be able to use it. Even if his opponent was an inferior-grade martial monarch, the green-robed young master was confident of knocking him back. It would be even easier to deal with Xiao Chen. Wukuei shakes the heavens. Break for me! Xiao Chen shouted. When he saw the scarlet flood dragon roaring ferociously, his expression did not change. He did not have any intention of retreating. He immediately executed the Wukuei shakes the heavens and clashed head-on with it. The scarlet Wukuei tree descended from the sky and crashed into the flood dragon. However, the flood dragon did not explode immediately. Instead, it opened its jaws and swallowed the tip of the scarlet Wukuei tree. This flood dragon is interesting. It is different from the mysterious phenomenon that I normally use my essence to gather. It is even more agile. Unfortunately, I do not have time now. Otherwise, I could toy with it. A strange light flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. He quickly formed a hand seal with his left hand, and the scarlet Wukuei tree surrounded by boundless lightning suddenly exploded. The flood dragon disappeared without a trace. A huge pillar of scarlet water soared into the sky. Xiao Chen leaped up and passed through the screen of water. He looked around and saw the green-robed young master forming hand seals. As the green-robed young master moved his hands, a crack appeared in the demonic clouds above him. A beam of golden light pierced through the demonic clouds and shone on the dark deep-sea battlefield. Blue Dragon Tail Whip. Xiao Chen moved like a dragon tail whip, creating a strong wind. He moved in an arc and charged at the green-robed young master, filling the sky with saber lights. Damn it! I nearly succeeded. The green-robed young master scattered his hand seals. He had no choice but to fight Xiao Chen again. Chapter 530. The green-robed young master tried to find an opportunity to escape several times. However, Xiao Chen blocked him every time. Although he did not know what that strange move was, for it to be able to break the demonic clouds, it was definitely very powerful. Hence, the green-robed young master could not give Xiao Chen a chance to execute it. The scarlet saber light contained an eternal and inextinguishable saber intent. Together with the terrifyingly dense crystalline essence, Xiao Chen's saber technique was extremely sharp. In the green-robed young master's eyes, Xiao Chen's figure had already disappeared from his vision. All he could see was saber light. However, it was an eternal and inextinguishable saber light with a sharp edge. The body was like a saber, the intent was like a saber. Such a saber technique had no weaknesses. Bang! The green-robed young master made a mistake. Xiao Chen immediately opened a bloody wound on his chest. Blood spurted out. Berserk Flood Dragon's rage, seeing that the green-robed young master wanted to use that move to force him back, Xiao Chen's gaze turned cold. He activated the secret technique of the blood flame shoes. His speed soared and instantly reached Mach 4. 5. The green-robed young master raised his saber light and broke the green-robed young master's move. In the process, he suffered significant internal injuries. The green-robed young master's complexion turned ashen. He already wanted to retreat, he did not want to waste time here. In the past, when he fought with cultivators of the same generation, he would always end them within 10 moves. With his strong cultivation and vast essence, he could suppress others with force. With the aid of the joyous Yin-Yang incantation, the green-robed young master's essence was frighteningly large. Even veteran half-step martial monarchs could not compare to him, not to mention the young cultivators of the same generation. However, this time, the green-robed young master met with someone even more powerful than him. The green-robed young master, who had always suppressed others with force, finally experienced what it felt like to be suppressed by force. The green-robed young master could not advance or retreat. He did not have enough time to execute all sorts of strong martial techniques. His opponent did not do anything but clash head-on with him. If the green-robed young master hesitated for even a moment, the saber chi would hack him in half. Even if he was unwilling, he could only brace himself and face it head-on. I cannot drag this out. If I do, I will not even have a chance to escape. I have to make a decision now. The green-robed young master's thoughts raced like lightning. His eyes flashed with determination. With a wave of Xiao Chen's hand, 10 Eros demons appeared on the surface of the sea. Their figures were seductive, and they stood between the two of them. Stop him. Without my order, no one is allowed to run. The green-robed young master finished speaking and ran away without looking back. Just as the 10 Eros demons were about to execute their charm technique, Ling Yu flew out of the spirit blood jade. She stood there and said softly, I'll help you block this group of Eros demons. You go and chase. Xiao. The purple mark on Ling Yu's forehead gave off a resplendent light. An ancient and noble aura unique to demons spread out from her body. They immediately felt a sense of fear from the depths of their souls. They scattered their charm techniques and prostrated themselves on the surface of the sea. They had panicked expressions as they looked at Ling Yu in fear. Xiao Chen did not say anything more. He spread out his spiritual sense and sensed the direction in which the green-robed young master had left. Then, he immediately gave chase. Xiao Chen had to catch up to this person. Otherwise, given this person's strength, if he let him go, there would be endless trouble in the future. If that happened, Xiao Chen would no longer have a foothold in the Eastern Sea. He would have to end his experiential training early. If the result was worse, the green-robed young master would find a martial monarch elder of his clan to ambush Xiao Chen. If that happened, his life would be in danger. A scarlet state of massacre appeared in Xiao Chen's eyes. As the killing intent rose in his heart, it became even denser. So. Xiao Chen activated the secret technique of the blood flame shoes. His speed reached Mach 4. 5, breaking through the limits of a martial king. Xiao Chen was like a white shadow moving quickly on the surface of the sea. He was simply too fast. As a result, a shockwave formed behind Xiao Chen. It was 10 meters tall and extended for several kilometers. This was why Xiao Chen had not grasped such speed yet. If he advanced to martial monarch, or if his blue dragon cloud soaring art improved, he would not have caused such a commotion. After a few breaths, Xiao Chen, who was moving at full speed, saw the green-robed young master's figure. The green-robed young master was flying miserably on the surface of the sea. He looked like he was in a panic. When the green-robed young master was within a kilometer of him, Xiao Chen suddenly stopped. The shockwave behind him slowly descended, creating a hua-la-la sound. Xiao Chen sheathed his saber and burned all his vital qi, not holding anything back. Azure smoke immediately came out from his Tianmen acupoint. Finally, it rushed into the sky and gathered on the demonic clouds. Then, it started burning ferociously. Heaven-burning claw. Xiao Chen shouted, and the burning azure clouds immediately turned into a huge dragon claw descending from the sky. A resonant dragon roar resounded. It seemed like an ancient blue dragon was hiding above the azure clouds. What fist technique is this? There is actually a dragon's might. The green-robed young master's vision was filled with an extremely huge azure dragon claw. The dragon claw carried the power to burn the heavens as it descended from the sky. The horrifying dragon's might made one feel irresistible. The green-robed young master was astonished. He had felt such a feeling from Shenyuan Zhantian before. However, he had not expected it to happen to Xiao Chen today as well. The green-robed young master did not have any time to think. He shouted and forcibly dispelled the fear in his heart. Then, he quickly dodged to the side. Bang! Immediately, 5 huge waves appeared on the surface of the sea. The wave in the west knocked the green-robed young master far away. The green-robed young master reacted very quickly. However, he was still too slow. A horrifying wound appeared on his back. Burning the heavens fist. When Xiao Chen shouted, he quickly pulled back the dragon claw that had entered the sea. Then, it turned into a dragon fist and punched at the green-robed young master. Xiao Chen did not hold anything back with this punch. He burned all the remaining vital qi in his body. It could be said to be a punch at the peak of his physical body. Boom! The dragon roar resounded again. This time, the green-robed young master, who had just gotten up, did not have a chance to react. The dragon fist struck his back. The green-robed young master became like a sandbag as he flew through the air in a parabola. When he landed on the water, the huge impact kicked up a huge wave. The green-robed young master's back had all broken. His internal organs were damaged, he had completely lost his ability to fight. Furthermore, this was because he had a vast amount of essence. If he did not have enough essence to protect his body, this punch would have pierced through him. Xiao Chen nodded in satisfaction. Although he had known that the stronger the vital qi, the stronger the burning the heavens would be, he had not expected it to be this strong. Xiao Chen grasped the lunar shadow saber on his belt with his left hand. Then, he slowly walked over to the green-robed young master. Ta! Ta! At this moment, the Scarlet Sea was calm. When the blood flame shoes stepped on the water, they gave off rhythmic footsteps. To the severely injured green-robed young master, it sounded like a death knell. As the footsteps got closer, the green-robed young master thought about many things. He was young and dissolute. He had outstanding talent and wandered the world freely. He was a talented youth. In the future, he would control the northern boundless sea and become a true overlord. His future was limitless. If he died at the hands of Xiao Chen, he would be too dissatisfied. I beg you, don't kill me. I'll give you 10 million medial-grade spirit stones. I don't want your Eros demon anymore. I'll give you 100 Eros demons. Let me off this time. When the green-robed young master felt Xiao Chen's cold and emotionless killing intent and death approaching, he could no longer remain calm. He tossed aside his dignity and threw himself to the surface of the sea, begging Xiao Chen for mercy. He promised all sorts of benefits, looking extremely tempting. Xiao Chen remained unmoved. He lowered his head and looked at the green-robed young master in a sorry state. He said expressionlessly, "Who told you that I have an advanced Eros demon?" A look of anticipation flashed in the green-robed young master's eyes. He said quickly, "If I tell you, will you not kill me?" Ah! An intense miserable cry resounded. It was Xiao Chen drawing his lunar shadow saber and chopping off one of the green-robed young master's arms. I'll ask you one more time. Are you going to tell me or not? The green-robed young master clenched his teeth and said, "No. Unless you agree to let me off, I will not tell you even if I die." Xiao Chen frowned slightly. He was not good at torturing people or lying. Since the green-robed young master was not willing to speak, then he could only give him a quick death. The green-robed young master raised his lunar shadow saber and was about to make a move. When he saw the determination in Xiao Chen's eyes, he said in a fluster, don't do it. I'll tell you. The Evil Moon Pavilions by Jean told me. He even told me everything about you in detail. I thought about it for a long time before I decided to make a move. Xiao Qin paused for a moment. Then, he nodded gently and said, "Oh, you can die now." You, the green-robed young master only managed to say one word before his head separated from his body, flying through the air. The green-robed young master's eyes were wide open. He died with a remaining grievance. If he had not been in a hurry to succeed, the four brothers would have worked together. How could they have given Xiao Qin the opportunity to kill him? Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in life. As the green-robed young master's head fell into the water, the famous green-robed young master of the northern sea fell at Xiao Qian's hands. Xiao Qin sheathed his saber and looked at the green-robed young master's decapitated body. He did not think too much about it. Killing such a person would be problematic. However, not killing him would only result in more problems. Since he had to kill him, he could not hesitate. A contemplative look appeared in Xiao Qian's eyes. He muttered Bai Zhan's name in his heart. He had not expected this person to have such means. Unexpectedly, Bai Zhan had colluded with the Northern Seas for young masters to deal with him, borrowing strength to fight. He did not have the demeanor of an expert at all. This kind of person is much more terrifying than the green-robed young master. Not to mention the difference in strength, just his thoughts are terrifying. Xiao! Xiao! Ling Yu quickly arrived at Xiao Qian's side. She looked at the green-robed young master's corpse and suppressed the shock in her heart. She said, "I asked the other four Eros demons. This person cultivates an evil cultivation technique called the Joyous Yin-Yang Incantation. He relies on harvesting yin to replenish yang to raise his cultivation. That's why he targeted me. However, he took the wrong path. The Joyous Yin-Yang Incantation lacks the most important link, the yin and yang complement. So, although his cultivation increased very quickly, his essence is impure and cannot be refined. There is no quality to speak of." Xiao Qin was slightly stunned. He had not expected such a miraculous cultivation technique to exist in the world. However, he did not believe that there were any shortcuts in the martial Tao. Even if there were shortcuts allowing one's cultivation to soar in a short time, it would not increase one's combat prowess. The green-robed young master before him was a good example. Chapter 531. Xiao Qin felt that Bai Zhan was only a small perfection half-step martial monarch. However, his combat prowess was at least 2 grades higher than the green-robed young master's. Xiao Qin squatted down and removed a superior quality jade spatial ring from the green-robed young master's finger. Then, he tossed it to Ling Yu and said, "Take a look and see what's inside. Help me tidy it up. I have something to do." Ling Yu caught the spatial ring and watched as Xiao Qin left quickly. Then, she asked loudly, "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to kill someone. Don't follow me." Xiao Qin waved his hand and did not turn his head back. The cool breeze carried his calm voice to Ling Yu's ears. Above the Scarlet Sea, the yellow-robed young master, the white-robed young master, and the blue-robed young master used spirit stones to recover their essence. After 2 hours, the medial-grade spirit stones in the three's hands were completely drained, turning into useless rocks. Their essence had also been completely replenished. The blue-robed young master was the first to open his eyes. He said somewhat worriedly, "Why is Big Brother not back yet? Did something happen? Should we go and take a look?" The yellow-robed young master shook his head and said, "No. With Big Brother's strength, he should have no problem dealing with that brat. Even if something unexpected happens, he should be able to escape." The white-robed young master mocked, "That's right. That brat must have gotten lucky and consumed some natural treasures, resulting in his essence being more abundant. However, compared to Big Brother, he is nothing. We just have to wait here for Big Brother's good news." Just at this moment, a handsome cultivator in azure with an extraordinary aura suddenly appeared in the three's vision. He carried a white-robed bladesman on his shoulder as he walked over unhurriedly. When the white-robed young master saw the situation, he could not help but laugh loudly. I already said that Big Brother would not have any problems. Now that we captured this brat alive, I have to torture him properly. Xiao Chen's earlier attack had embarrassed the white-robed young master. When he saw the green-robed young master carrying Xiao Chen back, he immediately became very excited and ran over. The blue-robed young master and the yellow-robed young master heaved a sigh of relief. They quickly followed behind the white-robed young master. "Big Brother, let me play with this brat," the white-robed young master said with a sinister expression. The blue-robed young master behind the white-robed young master looked at the smiling green-robed young master and suddenly felt that something was amiss. When the blue-robed young master saw the smiling green-robed young master, but not say anything, he felt that something was amiss. However, he could not pinpoint what was wrong. After hesitating for a while, he decided to check. In the end, he was given a huge fright. The green-robed young master before him did not have any cultivation at all. He was just an ordinary person. That demonic aura and majestic aura were all faked. Fourth brother is in danger, that's fake. When the blue-robed young master saw the fainted Xiao Chen, who seemed to have lost all his strength, he quickly shouted, "Don't worry, young Master Lan." The white-robed young master was stunned, feeling somewhat confused. He turned his head and asked, "What's going on? What are you saying is fake?" "Xiao." Right after Xiao Chen spoke, the originally soft and lifeless Xiao Chen suddenly drew the lunar shadow saber at his waist. It was drawing the saber. A cold light flashed past like lightning. The white-robed young master did not even have the chance to turn his head around to look at Xiao Chen again before his head left his neck and flew into the air. "Gotcha!" The blue-robed young master and the yellow-robed young master quickly drew their weapons and retreated 100 meters. The blue-robed young master looked at the green-robed young master, who was still smiling evilly, and asked sternly, "What did you do to my big brother?" "You're talking about him? He's just a puddle of blood. The real green-robed young master is naturally dead." Xiao Chen glanced over and pointed at the so-called green-robed young master. That fresh physical body immediately turned into a stream of blood and merged into the vast sea. This was the life bestowal spell that Xiao Chen was extremely familiar with. When the blue-robed young master and the yellow-robed young master saw the green-robed young master turn into a pool of blood, they were astonished. They had not expected such a strange martial technique to exist in the world. The yellow-robed young master shouted sternly, "Xiao Chen, do you know what you are doing? You killed 2 of the Northern Sea's 4 noble clans. Even the Heavenly Extermination Union's alliance chief cannot protect you." Xiao Chen said calmly, "If people do not offend me, I will not offend them. If people want to kill me, I will kill them myself." The 4 young masters had to die. Otherwise, if any of them managed to escape, the Northern Sea's 4 noble clans could kill them without a care for the consequences based on their testimony. The blue-robed young master and the yellow-robed young master exchanged glances. Then, they took advantage of the time when Xiao Chen spoke to attack at the same time. Mountain and River Sword. Ghostly Face Saber. The blue-robed young master held a sharp sword. The sword gave off a mysterious phenomenon, materializing mountains and rivers on the ground. He used the sword as a brush to paint the landscape. The sword seemed to incorporate the surrounding space into the painting. As for the blue-robed young master, he was the painter of the painting. However, the yellow-robed young master held a thick saber in his hand. He sent out a saber chi with a ghostly face surging with black chi, flying at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen had been on guard against the sudden attacks of the 2. Naturally, he did not panic when facing their attacks. Of the 2's killing moves, the blue-robed young master focused on the mysterious phenomenon. He wanted to use his boldness to paint the landscape, trapping Xiao Chen in the painting. The yellow-robed young master focused on mental attacks. He used a secret technique to condense his essence and mental energy into a ghostly face, dealing mental damage to the opponent's soul. The attacks of the 2 had their own specialties. They were about equal, there was not much difference. After thinking for a while, Xiao Chen came up with a countermeasure. He decided to break the blue-robed young master's mysterious phenomenon first. If the mysterious phenomenon was forcefully broken, the blue-robed young master would not have any combat prowess for a while. In order to truly paint the landscape, incorporating the mountains and rivers into the brush, one had to comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. At the very least, one had to have a complete holy weapon. Unfortunately, the blue-robed young master did not have either. He had only scratched the surface. This gave Xiaochen the opportunity to break it. Wukue breaks the heavens. A red light appeared on the saber. As the Wukue tree above finished growing, the light instantly extended a long distance. It soared into the sky, piercing through the 9 heavens. Ka-cie! Ka-cie! Crunching sounds rang out. The mysterious phenomenon was broken. The painting that the blue-robed young master wrote shattered. The 5,000 kilometers of mountains and rivers, the picturesque landscape, crumbled on its own. The painter no longer had the energy to paint. Pu-ci! The pale blue-robed young master vomited a mouthful of blood. He could not believe it. Although the blue-robed young master knew that Xiaochen had vast essence, he had not expected that there would be such a huge difference between him, a half-step martial monarch, and a superior-grade martial king. If the blue-robed young master had known of such a difference, he would not have executed the mountain and river sword technique. Xiaochen broke the blue-robed young master's mountain and river sword with one saber strike. However, the yellow-robed young master's ghostly saber chi had already arrived. When the ugly ghostly face was only 1 meter away from Xiaochen, it suddenly opened its mouth and cackled strangely. Sound waves spread out in all directions. The sound waves were piercing and invaded Xiaochen's mind. Countless evil spirits appeared in his sea of consciousness, corroding Xiaochen's mental energy. The golden deity in his sea of consciousness gently swung its sword. The countless evil spirits immediately turned to ashes. They did not pose any threat to Xiaochen. Break! A red light spread out in Xiaochen's eyes as he completely unleashed the state of massacre. He executed an arc-light chop and instantly chopped the ghostly saber chi in half. A scarlet arc circled Xiaochen's body. Then, it trembled and moved to Xiaochen's back, preparing to launch a sneak attack on the yellow-robed young master. When the sneak attack failed, the yellow-robed young master knew that he could not defeat Xiaochen. So he decisively retreated. However, how could Xiaochen give him a chance to escape? Back then, even someone as strong as the green-robed young master had died to Xiaochen. The yellow-robed young master was clearly weaker. How could he be a match for Xiaochen? After 100 moves, the yellow-robed young master could no longer hold on. Wounds of various sizes slowly appeared on his body. Many crystalline electric currents crackled in the wounds, worsening the yellow-robed young master's injuries. After another 50 moves, Xiaochen found a huge opening and killed his opponent. Xiaochen swept his gaze across the surface of the sea. Soon, he saw the blue-robed young master, whose mysterious phenomenon had been broken, walking on the surface of the sea with much difficulty. Blue Dragon Tail Whip. A huge dragon seemed to appear on the surface of the sea. It swung its tail, and Xiaochen kicked up a strong wind. Then, it moved in a long arc and arrived before the blue-robed young master in an instant. Die! Without giving the other party any chance to speak, Xiaochen raised his saber and chopped down, sending a head flying. Just like that, Xiaochen used 30% of his strategy, 20% of his courage, and 50% of his strength to kill the famous Northern Seas 4 young masters, one after another, falling in this vast Scarlet Sea. After killing these 4 people, Xiaochen's essence had not been exhausted yet. There was still a third of his essence left in the crystalline Qi whirlpool. The benefits that Xiaochen gained from using the secret technique, the 12 spirit-gathering pearls, were now clear for all to see. However, Xiaochen did not let down his guard. He extended out his spiritual sense and scanned the area continuously. Xiaochen's figure moved around the surroundings, carefully checking the area several times before he felt more at ease. By the time Xiaochen landed, Ling Yu had already rushed over. She had already taken the spatial rings of the other 3 young masters. Ling Yu was connected to Xiaochen through the spirit blood jade. They could sense each other's aura. Xiao Chen did not find it strange that Leng Yu found this place. Xiao Chen used the purple thunder true fire to burn the 3 corpses to ashes. Then, he quickly said to Leng Yu, "Have you sorted out the things in the spatial rings? We cannot stay here for long. We need to leave quickly." Leng Yu smiled faintly and said, "There is no need to be anxious. These 4 people are already dead. No one knows that you killed them. Furthermore, the things in the spatial rings are all treasures." Xiao Chen did not reply. He only walked in front silently. He felt that Bai Zhan definitely had some tricks up his sleeves. That person was like a venomous snake. If he did not bite you, it would be fine. However, if he bit you, you would die for sure. Even though Xiao Chen had already checked the area several times and did not find anyone else in the surroundings, it was still best to leave quickly. In the spatial rings of the 4 of them, there is a total of 5 million medial-grade spirit stones and 70,000 superior-grade spirit stones. There are also some other materials. If converted into spirit stones, there should be at least 1 million medial-grade spirit stones. As Leng Yu walked behind Xiao Chen, she reported the things that she had sorted out. Chapter 532. When Xiao Chen heard that there were so many spirit stones, he did not find it strange. There were many spirit veins in the boundless sea. Furthermore, they were of high quality. Aside from the resources at the bottom of the sea, the 4 great clans controlled the trade between the northern sea and the continent. The wealth they brought was astronomical. There are some rare ores in the rings of these 4 people. They can be used in the 10,000 magic gathering formation. Adding in the spirit stones from earlier and the points you have already obtained, if you exchange them all, you should barely be able to activate the 10,000 magic gathering formation. Xiao Chen paused for a moment and quickly stopped. He said, "Enter the spirit blood jade first. I will rush back to the divine dragon worship at full speed." Leng Yu felt it was strange. She asked, "Is there a need to rush? Didn't we agree to go a little deeper?" Xiao Chen changed his direction and started to rush back. He said slowly, "I have already decided. My next destination will be the island in the core of the battlefield. It is good to make some preparations. If one were to ask what was the most dangerous place in the deep-sea battlefield, it would naturally be the island in the core. However, the most dangerous place was the safest place. Even if the people of the northern boundless sea's 4 great clans rushed over and suspected Xiao Chen, they would not expect him to go to the island. Xiao Chen would wait until the commotion died down before going out. By then, he would have passed this crisis. A long time after Xiao Chen and Leng Yu left, a hole suddenly appeared in the space where they had been. The evil moon pavilions Bai Zhan emerged from it. As Bai Zhan stood in the air, he held a crystalline mirror in his hand. The scene shown in the mirror was the scene of Xiao Chen killing the 4 young masters. This fellow's perception is really strong. If not for this void battle armor, I would have been discovered. Bai Zhan looked away from the mirror and looked in the direction that Xiao Chen had taken. He muttered to himself, "I am not surprised that he managed to kill the 4 young masters. However, I did not expect him to win so easily. I have to make a quick trip to the northern sea." The scions of the 4 great clans were all killed. Ha ha! Even if you advance to martial monarch, you will not have any chance of surviving. Bai Zhan's plan was closely linked. Whether the 4 young masters succeeded or not, Xiao Chen was already in dire straits. From the moment the green-robed young master agreed to make a move, Bai Zhan had thought of all the possibilities and came up with a countermeasure. On the castle-like divine dragon warship, there was an independent and remote courtyard. Leng Yu crushed a superior-grade spirit stone into powder and carefully drew a complicated formation in the courtyard. Xiao Chen pushed the door open and entered. Then, he carefully closed the door. Leng Yu raised her head and asked, "Have you bought everything?" With a thought, Xiao Chen took out a large pile of rare ores from the universe ring. He nodded and said, "I do not have many things. However, I did as you said and bought some substitutes. Take a look and see if they are all right." After Ling Yu spoke, she did not say anything more. She placed the items on the various nodes of the formation. After everything was done, Ling Yu took a breather. Then, she said, after I recover, I can activate the 10,000 magic returning to origin formation and help you condense some magic energy. Then, we can conduct the blood sacrifice and completely grasp that scarlet blood frost flame diagram. 3 days ago, when the two of them returned to the divine dragon worship, Xiaoqun had started to purchase all sorts of materials. He had sold off all the 4 young masters' wealth in a low-key manner. After that, he spent another 2 days and finally settled everything today. After 15 minutes, Ling Yu finished resting. She got Xiaoqun to enter the center of the formation and sit down cross-legged, preparing to activate the 10,000 magic returning to origin formation. The purple mark on Ling Yu's forehead flickered. An ancient and noble aura spread out from her body once again. Ling Yu took a deep breath and flicked her finger, sending out 6 sparks. The sparks landed on the lines made of spirit stone powder. Boom! The entire formation burned, giving off a resplendent and dazzling light. All the ores on the nodes of the formation ignited. Then, they turned into 108 beams of starlight and flew into Xiaoqun's forehead. As the beams of starlight entered Xiaoqun's sea of consciousness, all of Xiaoqun's mental energy surged and burned, turning into a huge clump of golden liquid. Whoosh! 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 Xiaoqun's body also gave off tens of thousands of strands of golden light, turning him into a golden man. Ling Yu quickly formed hand seals with both hands. The 10,000 magic returning to origin formation on the ground spun, and all sorts of lights intertwined. Xiaoqun's figure turned blurry as he stood in the golden liquid in his sea of consciousness. The golden liquid in his sea of consciousness continued to condense. As the golden liquid was continuously compressed, Xiaoqun felt that his mental energy did not weaken. Instead, it grew stronger. After an unknown period of time, the golden light on Xiaoqun's body slowly faded. The light of the formation also slowly weakened. That clump of golden liquid was finally compressed to the size of a strand of hair. Then, it floated out of Xiaoqun's forehead. The hair-sized golden liquid flowed with a dazzling light, illuminating the entire courtyard like it was daytime. Fortunately, this place was very remote. Otherwise, such a mysterious phenomenon would attract countless cultivators to come and take a look. Xiaoqun, do it quickly. This is your magic energy. It can only last for 4 seconds, Ling Yu said quickly. Xiaoqun opened his eyes and said quickly, understood. Ling Yu had already told Xiaoqun how to use this strand of magic energy to carry out the blood sacrifice. Using some skill, Xiaoqun cut the tip of his index finger. A drop of blood flew out and merged with that strand of golden magic energy, entangling with it. 4 seconds passed in merely 2 breaths of time. Xiaoqun did not dare to delay any longer. He took out the scarlet blood frost flame painting from his bosom and waved it, quickly unfurling it. Ding! The instant the painting unfurled, the strand of magic energy infused with Xiaoqun's blood landed on the painting. The 4 seconds were up. Xiaoqun suddenly felt excited. As he looked at the painting floating quietly in the air, it felt like the painting had come to life. This feeling was very miraculous. It was different from the feeling of a secret treasure. A secret treasure only had a mental connection. However, this scarlet blood frost flame painting was a magic treasure. It required a connection between one's mind and blood. This scarlet blood frost flame painting was already a part of his body. Xiaoqun issued a command in his heart, and the unfurled scarlet blood frost flame painting immediately turned into a beam of dim light and entered Xiaoqun's chest, merging with his blood. Xiaoqun smiled faintly and waved his right hand. The painting instantly appeared in his hand. Ling Yu walked over and said, Xiaoqun, this scarlet blood frost flame painting is now your magic treasure. It is different from a secret treasure. If the magic treasure is destroyed, you will suffer mental damage of varying degrees. You do not have magic energy. Compared to a regular immortal cultivator, you will suffer mental damage several times more. Xiaoqun stood up to indicate that he understood. He had already comprehended that magic energy relied on mental energy. It was similar to how essence was transformed from quintessence to martial monarchs. Thus, if a strand of magic energy was damaged, it would result in mental damage many times over. Due to the rules of this world, Shao Chen could not transform mental energy into magic energy. However, that did not mean that he would not have a chance in the future. Shao Chen did not look at the various wonders of the Scarlet Blood Frost Flame painting. He put it away and said cautiously, "Let's go. We should head for the core island now." Leng Yu's eyes revealed some shock. She said, "Ever since you killed the 4 young masters, you seem to be in a rush." Shao Chen revealed a helpless expression. He smiled bitterly and said, "I don't want to. Such a mental state is not suitable for cultivation. However, Bai Zhan is too much of a threat. I originally thought that he would sneak attack me after the 4 young masters made their move. However, he did not. There is definitely something strange going on. Bai Zhan would not place all his hopes on the 4 young masters. He definitely knows what kind of person that green-robed young master is. He is just a peak small perfection half-step martial monarch." Leng Yu was very intelligent. She quickly figured out the crux of the matter. She said, "You are afraid that he will inform the Northern Seas 4 noble clans. However, he does not have any evidence. The 4 noble clans will not be able to do anything to you." Shao Chen shook his head slightly and said, "Sometimes, there is no need for evidence to kill someone. All that is needed is suspicion. It is not easy for me to determine what kind of people the 4 noble clans are. So, it is best to be more cautious. Let's go." When Leng Yu heard this, she entered deep thought. She recalled some of her own experiences and immediately felt the same way. In the sky above the eastern boundless sea to the northern boundless sea, Bai Zhan operated the void battle armor with all his might. He entered the void and moved at Mach 15. Without the obstruction of air in the void, a cultivator's speed could be tripled. If they had a secret treasure, their speed could be doubled. The void battle armor was an inferior grade secret treasure. There were only 3 superior grade secret treasures in the entire Evil Moon Pavilion. One of them was in Bai Zhan's hands. This clearly showed Bai Zhan's position in the Evil Moon Pavilion. If this secret treasure was activated at full power, it could only be used once every half a year. However, it could be used continuously for 7 days. The Evil Moon Pavilion's pavilion master had given it to Bai Zhan to protect his life. Once he entered the void, unless a sage changed the natural laws, even a peak martial monarch would not be able to do anything to him. I have already flown for 2 days. In another 4 hours, I should be able to reach the headquarters of the Northern Sea Alliance. Bai Zhan calmly calculated the flight time in the void. He smiled and said, Shao Chen, you forced me to use the void battle armor. Even if you die, you can be proud of yourself." After Shao Chen left the huge divine dragon warship, he rushed through the night, heading for the most dangerous place in the 3rd grade battlefield, the island core. Along the way, Shao Chen also explored the various wondrous uses of the Scarlet Blood Flame Frost diagram. The Scarlet Blood Flame Frost diagram's predecessor was the Void Projection diagram. Naturally, its first wondrous use was to capture objects. Shao Chen could capture any demon he saw into the diagram and trap them. After using it a few times, Shao Chen discovered that capturing an enemy into the diagram was very taxing on mental energy. Furthermore, there were many limitations. First, he could not capture an enemy beyond 500 meters. Second, he had to be strong. If the enemy he wanted to capture was much stronger than him, it would be very difficult to do so. The second wondrous use of the Scarlet Blood Flame Frost diagram was, of course, the Scarlet Blood Frost Flame. Shao Chen could summon out the flame in the diagram to defend against enemies. Chapter 533. Shao Chen could also use the Scarlet Blood Frost Flame to create blood flame beasts to fight against enemies. However, Shao Chen's current strength was limited. The blood flame beasts that he could summon were only as strong as martial saints. they could only be used as cannon fodder. Aside from this, what interested Shao Chen even more was the hand holding the scarlet blood frost flame. If he guessed correctly, that should be the arm of an Emperor Wu. He didn't know how much of Emperor Wu's strength this arm could bring out. Even if it was only 1/10, it would be enough for Shao Chen to do whatever he wanted. 1 week later, the most dangerous place in the level 3 battlefield, the outline of the core island appeared in Shao Chen's vision. The clouds above the island seemed to be dyed with layers of black ink. It was pitch black and thick. There was not a trace of light on the island. It was truly dark. The core island had another name among martial artists, Nirvana Island. According to legend, when the divine phoenix was about to die, it would experience the torment of raging flames and a painful test. Once they passed the test, they would be refined and reborn within the flames. This was the phoenix's nirvana. The cultivators who were about to step onto the core islands were undoubtedly prepared to die. They were prepared to go through layers of trials and tribulations. Once one passed the test, one would similarly be reborn and obtain a sublimation. That was why this island was called Nirvana Island. Nirvana Rebirth. Shao Chen muttered, "There is still half a year left. I have to advance to half-step martial monarch." Holding the lunar shadow saber in his left hand, Shao Chen walked towards Nirvana Island with a resolute gaze. What Shao Chen did not know was that there was a heated discussion going on the divine dragon worship at this time, and the center of the discussion was him. Inside the hall, a few old men watched a scene projected in the air. The scene showed a white-robed bladesman with a calm expression and scarlet eyes killing the Northern Sea's green-robed young master. After that, he plotted to kill the white-robed young master. Finally, he fought 1 against 2 and killed the yellow-robed young master and blue-robed young master. Just like that, the 4 young masters of the Northern Sea all died at this person's hands. Several elders from the Northern Sea Alliance sat on the chairs and tables in the hall, their faces ashen. Although this wasn't the first time he had seen this scene, he still felt humiliated every time he saw it. The scion of one of the Northern Sea's 4 noble clans actually died at the hands of a great Qin nation bladesman. Furthermore, that bladesman was only 20 years old. The scene stopped at the back of the white-robed bladesman and Ling Yu leaving. Bai Zhan smiled faintly and withdrew the returning light mirror. "Elder Feng, do you believe that we have evidence now?" An elder of the green-robed young master's clan, Ao Feng, said sinisterly. Feng Buyu frowned slightly. As the person in charge of the level 3 battlefield, he did not have much of an impression of Shao Chen. After all, there were tens of thousands of martial artists here. It would be difficult for him to remember all of them. Since Feng Buyu did not have any impression of Shao Chen, there was no need to bother. Just as Feng Buyu was about to speak, the white-haired old man beside him looked at Bai Zhan and said, "Young hero Bai, this is very strange. Since you were behind using the returning light mirror and watched as the 4 young masters were killed, why did you not make a move to save them?" Feng Buyu did not have any impression of Shao Chen. However, this white-haired old man left a deep impression on him. Back when Shao Chen was a medial-grade martial king, he was able to rank in the top 10 of the point ranking. Thus, this white-haired old man was certain that Shao Chen was not a simple person. Now that something like this happened, the white-haired old man's first thought was that something was wrong. When the white-haired old man asked this question, the people of the Northern Sea's 4 noble clans all looked at Bai Zhan suspiciously. Bai Zhan did not show any panic on his face. Clearly, he had expected this question. He replied calmly, "At that time, I did make a move. Unfortunately, this person's strength was too heaven-defying. In less than 10 moves, he severely injured me. Helpless, I could only rely on the void battle armor to hide in the void. That was how I managed to avoid this calamity." No one could find any fault with his explanation. Even if they could, they would not be able to find any fault with it. Even if they could, the people of the 4 noble clans would not be willing to find out. Now that the noble clan's scion was dead, what they needed to do was find the murderer. Furthermore, they needed to make the murderer die a horrible death to protect the face of the Northern Sea Alliance's 4 noble clans. Actually, the truth was not important. As long as they could resolve this matter perfectly, it would be fine. Between Bai Zhan and Xiao Chen, one was the first disciple of the Evil Moon Pavilion's pavilion master and the other was a lone ranger without a sect. It was clear who to believe. The white-haired old man withdrew his gaze from Bai Zhan and said indifferently, "It is common for cultivators to kill each other on the battlefield. Our divine dragon palace will not interfere. We cannot set a precedent. Hence, we will not help you use the point medallion to locate this person." Feng Buyu felt somewhat depressed. Why was the white-haired old man so protective of Xiao Chen? However, at this moment, the two of them were on the same side, so it was not convenient for him to ask. He could only see the leader of the four noble clans, Ao Feng, saying apologetically, "We cannot break the rules. If others know that we are using the point medallion to track them, no one will come to our Eastern Sea to participate in the experiential training. I can represent the Divine Dragon Palace in not interfering with your private actions. The Divine Dragon Palace will remain neutral in this matter." Ao Feng's expression turned hostile. He stood up and snorted coldly, "Remember what you said. Remain neutral. Let's go." After Feng Buyu saw the people of the four noble clans leave, he turned to the white-haired old man and said, "You seem to know that Xiao Chen." The white-haired old man nodded and said, "Back then, that Xiao Chen left a deep impression on me. After that, I looked into his information and discovered that he has the Heavenly Extermination Union backing him. It is best that we do not get involved in this mess." Feng Buyu nodded and said, "The Heavenly Extermination Union is indeed a super sect. Unfortunately, this person caused too much trouble. Otherwise, I would not mind helping him out, giving the Heavenly Extermination Union some face." This time, the four noble clans sent out a total of 8 people. All of them were martial monarchs. For 8 martial monarchs to deal with one Xiao Chen, it was easy to imagine how much importance the Northern Sea Alliance placed on Xiao Chen. Outside the hall, Ao Feng frowned and said, "Young Master Bai, do you know where that brat is hiding? We should deal with him quickly so that we can return." Bai Zhan shook his head and said, "I do not know. However, there is no need to rush. His points are frighteningly high. He will definitely come back and use them to exchange for items. You just need to wait for him." When the 8 martial monarchs heard this, they heaved a sigh of relief. Even though they were martial monarchs, it would be very difficult to search for a person in the vast sea. It would take a lot of time and effort. The cultivators who dared to step onto Nirvana Island were mostly Great Perfection half-step martial monarchs. There were many peak half-step martial monarchs like Sun Guangquan. Xiao Chen's overall combat prowess, including his secret treasures, was equal to a Great Perfection half-step martial monarch. He was qualified to step onto this Nirvana Island. However, he could not go too deep. When Xiao Chen's feet touched the surface of the sea, he felt his limbs stiffen. The mental energy in his sea of consciousness also felt an even stronger pressure. What strong mental pressure! No wonder Sun Guangquan chose this place to open his sea of consciousness. With such a strong pressure, it would be much easier to open the sea of consciousness here than outside. Xiao Chen moved around a little, allowing his limbs, blood, and body to get used to the environment of Nirvana Island. Nirvana Island was dark. The environment was very complicated. There were bushes, rocks, and everything else was in a mess. There was no pattern to it. There is a peak superior grade fire demon 2,000 meters away. It sensed you and is heading towards you. Ling Yu, who was beside Xiao Chen, could see very far with her purple eyes in the dark night. In this place, mental energy was suppressed. Ling Yu's eyes were more useful than Xiao Chen's spiritual sense. Xiao Chen stopped moving, and his blood surged. He said with some anticipation, "A peak superior grade fire demon. Let's see what kind of opponent I will face in my first battle on Nirvana Island." After a few breaths, Xiao Chen also saw that peak superior grade fire demon. The flame on its head looked sinister in the darkness, like a ghost fire. Xiao Chen grasped his saber hilt with his right hand. His fighting spirit soared, and his essence surged. His clothes fluttered even though there was no wind. A surging energy surged around him, and his aura rose continuously. A peak superior grade fire demon was as strong as a great perfection half-step martial monarch. The only thing it lacked was that it could not learn all sorts of martial techniques and cultivation techniques like humans. As low-grade demons, they could only rely on their innate techniques to fight. This gave Shao Chen the opportunity to kill it. Boom! 3 huge fireballs flew in 3 arcs in the dark night, heading for Shao Chen. That peak superior grade fire demon had taken the initiative to attack. The speed of the fireball was extremely fast. It reached 3.5 times the speed of sound. Shao Chen bent his body slightly and rushed forward with wide strides. Bang! The fireballs on the left and right clashed, shattering the afterimage that Shao Chen left behind. A deep pit 10 meters wide instantly appeared in the ground. Chop! Shao Chen drew the lunar shadow saber and moved like scarlet lightning in the dark night. He brought out the state of massacre at full power and split the fireball above him in half. Roaming Dragon's 9 transformations. Shao Chen shouted, and his figure wavered. He split into 9, hiding the killing intent in the air and turning into 9 cool breezes that blew away. When the cool breeze blew, the air, which had been frozen by the state of massacre, immediately flowed happily. The peak fire demon squinted, it knew the might of this move. The ground under Shao Chen's feet exploded. As the shock wave surged, it instantly tossed the peak fire demon into the air. The instant the fire demon soared into the air, Shao Chen's 9 figures merged back under his feet. The killing intent that filled the air, which had disappeared for a moment, suddenly burst out and crushed the countless rocks that the shock wave kicked up into powder. This saber strike had missed. What an intelligent fire demon! Unexpectedly, it knew how to use such a method to suddenly raise its speed. After Shao Chen's attack missed, he quickly took advantage of the situation and chased after the fire demon in the air. The best way to deal with a fire demon was naturally to get close and kill it with one saber strike. Of course, that was assuming one could reach the fire demon alive. Bang! 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 The fire demon in the air continuously grew taller. It moved its hands skillfully, sending huge fireballs at Shao Chen like a machine gun. The interval between each fireball was no more than 2 seconds. When seen from a distance, the fireballs looked like a fire snake biting Shao Chen. Chapter 534. The solid crystalline saber light flickered continuously as Shao Chen chopped the fireballs flying at him in half. Then, he calmly calculated the distance between him and the fire demon. Another 100 meters, 90 meters, 80 meters. I'm there. Blue dragon tail whip. Hu Chi. Suddenly, Shao Chen's body moved in an arc, like the tail of a huge dragon. A strong wind blew as Shao Chen arrived beside the fire demon in front. The peak fire demon's face was filled with astonishment. Its expression changed drastically. Clearly, it had not expected Shao Chen to have such a strange movement technique. Ka Xie. The saber light flashed. Before the peak fire demon's horrified eyes, Shao Chen chopped it in half at the waist. After extracting the demon core from the fire demon's chest, Shao Chen slowly landed on the ground. Then, he closed his eyes and started to digest the killing intent that this fire demon gave him. After a while, Shao Chen opened his eyes again. His gaze was clear, and the killing intent had completely vanished. The killing intent of a peak blood demon is indeed strong. This kind of test will allow me to perfectly grasp the state of massacre. Nirvana Island, I will definitely rise from the ashes on this Nirvana Island. In the following days, Ling Yu acted as Shao Chen's eyes, helping him detect the demons in advance and determine their strength before deciding whether to kill them or not. Shao Chen knew his own limits. He did not venture deeper into the island, only killing some peak demons in the periphery. Time slowly went by. On this island, where there was no day or night, Shao Chen cultivated, killing, and killing. Every day, he repeated the monotonous and dull life. Just like that, 5 months passed in a flash. During this time, the blood moon appeared 3 times. All the high-ranked demons on Nirvana Island went berserk. In the core of the island, the elite disciples of the Divine Dragon Palace and peak half-step martial monarchs from all over fought a bitter battle with the demons. Compared to the battle on the outpost islets, the battle on the outpost islets paled in comparison. For the first time, Xiaochen clearly understood that this was the core of the entire battlefield. At this time, the demons would gather at the core area to attack the Divine Dragon Palace's camp. This gave Xiaochen an opportunity to sneak over without being discovered by a large number of demons. Hence, every time the blood moon rose into the sky, Xiaochen would watch the battles of these peak half-step martial monarchs. From there, he would learn all sorts of martial techniques and benefit greatly. What made Xiaochen even happier was that he saw Sun Guangquan among the group of peak half-step martial monarchs. This senior's cultivation was much more refined than before. He was one step closer to becoming a martial monarch. On this day, Xiaochen lured over 5 top-tier fire demons in one go. He only used 10 moves to end the lives of these fire demons at the same time. A large number of red glowing spheres surged toward Xiaochen's forehead. The pleasure of killing filled his whole body, but Xiaochen's heart was calm, and there was no sign of him sinking into desire. Now, Xiaochen could see things very clearly. His grasp of killing had become more skillful. He knew how to guide the desire to kill in his heart. Xiaochen skillfully extracted the demon cores from the demons. Then, he asked calmly, "Ling Yu, how long have we been on the island?" 5 months and 16 days. Why? Xiaochen muttered, "Let's go. It's time to go back." Xiaochen's cultivation path had its ups and downs. After fighting for close to half a year, he had already reached the limits of his body. He was still young and did not need to risk his life like those peak martial monarchs in the core area of the island. This was because they did not have much lifespan left. Perhaps this was their last chance to advance to martial monarch. They had to risk their lives. There would be plenty of opportunities in the future. They could not afford to waste their time here. That would be a great regret. When Xiaochen walked out of the island and stepped onto the Scarlet Sea, he suddenly felt his entire body relax. His entire body felt very comfortable. After thinking for a while, Xiaochen understood the reason behind this. After being under the mental pressure of the island for a long time, the mental pressure had decreased significantly. It would be strange if he did not feel relaxed. The originally dark Scarlet Sea now looked very bright in Xiaochen's eyes. It looked like my eyes had benefited from being in the dark for a long time. When Xiaochen looked down, he saw that Xiaochen's reflection in the Scarlet Sea looked much older. After half a year of killing and experiential training, all the tenderness on his face was gone. When Xiaochen looked at himself in the water, his heart skipped a beat. He had not looked at himself seriously for a long time. When he looked at himself seriously, he suddenly discovered that he had grown so much. Xiaochen muttered softly, "It's been 4 years. I did not expect 4 years to pass in the blink of an eye." Xiaochen had already been in this world for 4 years. 4 years ago, he did not know if he would have imagined that he would have such accomplishments today. "What do you mean by 4 years?" Ling Yu, who was at the side, asked, finding it strange. Xiaochen did not answer Ling Yu's question. He raised his head and looked ahead. His gaze seemed to be able to see far into the distance. He said, "Someone is coming." Ling Yu raised her head and looked. Indeed, there was a small team of 9 people riding valiant royal blood horses at the limits of her vision. Clearly, their destination was the Nirvana Island behind Xiaochen. The auras of these 9 people were very strong. They were all small perfection half-step martial monarchs. The person leading them was a peak small perfection half-step martial monarch. This person wore azure robes and had a handsome and elegant appearance. His gaze was as sharp as a sword. He looked very similar to the green-robed young master. "The 2 of you, stop right there," the leader suddenly shouted as he passed by the 2. That person's tone was very tyrannical. Xiao Chen frowned slightly, feeling displeased. Royal blood horses could travel on water and were very fast. They were very expensive and could only be found in the boundless sea. Furthermore, there was no market for them, they were very difficult to buy. These 9 people each had a horse. Their origins were definitely not simple. Xiao Chen thought for a while before turning around and asking, "What's the matter?" The cultivator in azure smiled faintly and looked at Ling Yu, who was beside Xiao Chen. He said, "Get your woman to remove her veil for me to take a look." Xiao Chen frowned and did not say anything. He only placed his right hand on the hilt of his saber. "Brat, don't be so untactful. Do you know what kind of person my young master is?" "Ha ha. My young master just wants to take a look. It's not like you will die. If my young master takes a liking to you, you will be able to make a meteoric rise," the middle-aged cultivators behind the cultivator in azure said. When Ling Yu saw that Xiao Chen could not sense it, she nodded slightly. She understood what Xiao Chen meant. The purple mark on Ling Yu's forehead flickered with light. Her eyes released strands of pink light. The 9 people riding on the royal blood horses immediately felt dazzled. Their blood started to boil as they entered a hallucination. Ka Xie. The lunar shadow saber was drawn at lightning speed. Then, Xiao Chen's figure wavered and turned into 9 afterimages. He executed Qingyun Peak's secret technique, the clear wind chop, hiding a boundless killing intent in the gentle breeze. The cultivator in azure clothes reacted the fastest. He only used half a second to wake up from the hallucination. He slapped the back of his horse, and its speed increased explosively. In an instant, he flew more than 500 meters. However, a clone still managed to leave a bloody wound on his chest. Electricity flickered in the wound, and saber intent surged. The saber chi surged wildly in his chest, causing the cultivator in azure clothes immense pain. The other 8 people were only startled awake after Ling Yu's charm technique for a second. Just as they were about to make a move, they discovered a cool breeze blowing on them. Suddenly, a saber light appeared, and a surging killing intent burst forth. That killing intent was boundless, like a surging flood or a surging sea. The few of them had never felt such a vast killing intent before. In that instant, their bodies seemed to lose the ability to move. Before he could pull out the weapon in his hand, a stream of blood spurted out from his neck, and his head flew into the air. 1 second was sufficient for Xiao Chen to do many things. When the cultivator in azure clothes in the air felt Xiao Chen's surging killing intent and horrifying strength, he felt incredibly shocked. All the more, he did not expect Xiao Chen to be so decisive, killing him without saying a word. "You are ruthless. If you have the guts, don't return to the divine dragon worship. I will make it so that you will never be able to leave the boundless sea." Bang! The 9 figures merged back into one. Xiao Chen sheathed his saber and watched the cultivator in azure clothes disappear into the distance. He did not give chase. "Should we give chase?" Ling Yu asked. Xiao Chen shook his head and said, "There is no need. He is just a profligate son of a rich family. There is no need to bother with him." After cultivating on Nirvana Island for the first half of the year, Xiao Chen's cultivation had already risen to peak superior grade martial king. He only needed 6 more spirit-gathering pearls to break through to half-step martial monarch. Xiao Chen had already opened his sea of consciousness long ago. Once he became a half-step martial monarch, he would not need to fear anyone under martial monarch. Xiao Chen did not fear such a greedy profligate son of a rich family. He could use miraculous medicinal pills and natural treasures to raise his cultivation. However, without tempering, what was the use of that? The 2 of them mounted a royal blood horse each and galloped forward. The royal blood horse was not as fast as a cultivator. However, it had great stamina. Without resting, it could travel day and night. It was very suitable for traveling long distances. The 2 traveled day and night. After 4 days, the 3 outpost islets appeared before their eyes. This place was already at the edge of the battlefield. There were many cultivators coming and going. Xiao Chen and Ling Yu, who rode on the royal blood horse, stood out from the many cultivators walking on the surface of the sea. They attracted many gazes. This was especially so for Ling Yu. Although she wore a fur coat and a veil, her exquisite figure, her exposed eyes, and her naturally bewitching aura made it clear that she was a beauty with one look. The veil added a sense of mystery to Ling Yu's aura. Everyone wanted to know what she looked like when she removed the veil. Xiao! Suddenly, 4 figures flew out from the outpost islets. These 4 people wore robes of 4 colors: green, yellow, white, and blue. They were the same as the Northern Sea's 4 young masters. They were all peak small perfection half-step martial monarchs. The 4 landed on the water and blocked Xiao Chen's path. The cultivator in green that Xiao Chen met a few days ago smiled coldly and said, "I said it before. If you dare to return to the divine dragon worship, I will make it so that you will never be able to leave the boundless sea." Fourth brother, this is the person you were talking about. He is not even a half-step martial monarch, yet he managed to injure you to such an extent, the cultivator in white on the left said. The cultivator in green said angrily, "I was careless. I already said I was careless. The girl beside him is very strange. Don't look at her eyes." Chapter 535. Seeing the 4 people blocking Xiao Chen and Ling Yu's path, the cultivators passing by all gathered over curiously. Someone offended those 4 fellows again. They are probably in trouble again. Half a year ago, the Northern Sea's 4 young masters mysteriously disappeared. These 4 people call themselves the new Northern Sea's 4 young masters. In the past few battles of the Blood Moon, their performances were very eye-catching. Now, they are even more famous than the previous 4 young masters. Xianyuan Zhantian taught the 4 of them a lesson previously, but they did not change. They are still very arrogant. Some time ago, they even snatched a month's worth of our team's harvest. What can we do? They are the direct descendants of the Northern Sea's 4 noble clans. The previous 4 young masters are probably dead. In the future, these 4 people will be the ones in charge of the Northern Sea. As the group discussed, Xiao Chen gained a better understanding of the situation in the past half a year. It looked like no one knew that he was the one who killed the Northern Sea's 4 young masters. Or perhaps the Northern Sea's 4 noble clans did not publicize this matter. Regardless of which it was more beneficial to Xiao Chen. The cultivator in green did not let Xiao Chen off. He said, "Brat, if you are smart, you will immediately send the woman beside you over. Give me 1 million medial-grade spirit stones, and I will let you go." Naturally, Xiao Chen would not agree to such conditions. The warhorse galloped, kicking up splashes on the Scarlet Sea. Then, Xiao Chen charged over. Opposing blood sword. Breaking blade saber. Wind dragon burst. Iron fire fist. The 4 people smiled coldly and soared into the air. 4 different states spread out in the air. Their auras merged as they executed their killing moves, preparing to work together to severely injure Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen could not be bothered with these 4 people. He drew his lunar shadow saber and executed his strongest move while on horseback. Wukue moves heaven. Under the guidance of Xiao Chen's saber intent, scarlet electric lights flickered continuously in the pitch-black demonic clouds in the sky, quickly gathering together. A kilometer in the sky, the thunderclouds formed a scarlet Wukue tree. The tree grew rapidly, wildly absorbing the lightning-attributed spiritual energy in the surroundings. Soon, leaves flourished, and a row of divine trees covered the sky. The divine Wukue tree grew several hundred meters tall. Clang 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 clang. When the divine Wukue tree completely formed, everyone present felt like the entire sky was shaking. The laws of heaven and earth seemed to have undergone some sort of change. The 4 of them suddenly discovered that no matter how they moved, they could not move at all. For a moment, they were panicking to the extreme. What's going on? What kind of martial skill is this? The scarlet divine Wukue tree descended from the sky and instantly shattered the killing moves that the 4 just executed. All sorts of lights and essence flew everywhere. This move was unavoidable. Back when Xiao Chen was only a superior-grade martial king, he used this move to defeat Xie Ziwen, a peak superior-grade martial king. Now, his cultivation and slaughter intent had more than doubled, and his strength had increased greatly. Even an inferior-grade martial monarch would not dare to clash head-on. These four relied on medicinal pills to raise their cultivation. How could they block it? Bang! In an instant, the scarlet divine Wukue tree crushed the four's essence barrier. They all vomited a mouthful of blood and fell to the scarlet sea, unable to get up again. After defeating the four in one move, Xiao Chen ignored them. He sheathed his saber and rode the royal blood horse to the divine dragon worship on the surging scarlet sea. Damn! Who is this person? Why have I never seen him before? He defeated the northern seas four young masters in one move. He is already on par with Xianyuan Zhantian. Indeed, I have never heard of this person in the top 10 of the point ranking. This fellow did not even say a word, but he gave off a very tyrannical feeling. He is even more tyrannical than Xianyuan Zhantian. When the people at the side saw Xiao Chen leave, their shock was indescribable. It was hard to imagine that there was a youth on the same level as Xianyuan Zhantian in the deep-sea battlefield. On the divine dragon worship, Xiao Chen brought Leng Yu to the exchange room. He had been stuck at peak superior grade martial king for a long time already and urgently needed spirit-gathering pearls to break through. The moment Xiao Chen entered the hall, he immediately felt a few sneaky gazes directed at him. After a few glances, Xiao Chen ignored them. The point ranking was still very crowded. Xiao Chen casually glanced at the rankings. Xianyuan Zhantian was still in first place. Bai Zhan had been pushed to fourth place. The second and third places were occupied by the leaders of the Western Sea's 7 knights and the Southern Sea's 4 heroes. As for Xiao Chen's own ranking, he did not even see the 50th place. So, he could not be bothered to look at it. The strength of the demons on Nirvana Island could not be compared to the demons outside. Thus, it was understandable that Xiao Chen's points rose slower. However, the benefits he gained were much greater. Without a doubt, the experience he gained from sparring with the strong was incomparable to that of the weak. Wait for me here. I'm going to the exchange room, Xiao Chen instructed Leng Yu, who was beside him. After queuing for 15 minutes, Xiao Chen entered the exchange room for the second time. When the white-haired old man saw Xiao Chen enter, his calm expression immediately changed. Shock appeared in his eyes. However, he quickly recovered his calm. Xiao Chen took out his jade pendant and went straight to the point. 8,000 points. Help me exchange for 6 spirit-gathering pearls. As for the remaining 2,000, help me exchange them for superior-grade spirit stones. The white-haired old man received the jade pendant and looked at it. There were indeed 8,000 points. Then, he handed out the jade pendant and smiled. Little friend, you might be disappointed. The spirit-gathering pearls have already been exchanged. Xiao Chen frowned and asked, why? The white-haired old man explained, the Divine Dragon Palace only has one martial sage. How could they have so much time to refine spirit-gathering pearls? They can only refine 100 a year. That was indeed the case. Refining spirit-gathering pearls would exhaust a martial sage's life cultivation. There would definitely be a limit to how many spirit-gathering pearls he could refine. Xiao Chen could not help but feel disappointed. Without spirit-gathering pearls, he might need another half a year to break through his bottleneck. If he was unlucky, it might take even longer. However, I can help you exchange for 6. Use your 8,000 points. The white-haired old man changed the topic and took out 6 inferior-grade spirit-gathering pearls. Xiao Chen was not in a rush to receive the white-haired old man's spirit-gathering pearls. He muttered to himself for a while before asking, Senior, why are you helping me? The white-haired old man handed the spirit-gathering pearls over and smiled. Ha ha! Are you afraid that I will harm you? You are someone who even dared to kill the Northern Sea's 4 young masters. Do you not even have this bit of courage? Xiao Chen smiled faintly. His expression did not change. However, he tightened his grip on his saber. He said, "Senior, don't speak nonsense. The 4 young masters are powerful people. How can I afford to offend them? You are not going to admit it?" The Evil Moon Pavilions by Jean already used the returning light mirror to record the scene of you killing the 4 young masters. Currently, the hall is filled with the Northern Sea Alliance's spies. The news of your appearance has probably already been sent to the North Sea by the 1,000-mile sound transmission talisman. In an hour, the North Sea Alliance's elders will be sent over by the ancient teleportation formation. If I were you, I would definitely take my things and leave immediately. The white-haired old man laughed softly as he spoke unhurriedly. Xiao Chen's face sank. He carefully put away the spirit-gathering pearls and quickly stood up. He said, "Many thanks for Senior's reminder. I will repay this kindness in the future." Bai Zhan indeed had a backup plan. Unexpectedly, his plan was very detailed. Back then, regardless of whether the Northern Seas 4 young masters succeeded or not, they still forced me to a dead end. However, 1 hour is sufficient for me to leave for a long time. After leaving the exchange room, Xiaochen looked around. When he found Ling Yu, he quickly walked over and said, "Come with me. Let's leave this place quickly." When Ling Yu saw Xiaochen's hostile expression, she knew that something had happened. She quickly followed behind Xiaochen. Immediately, Xiaochen moved quickly in the large hall, pushing aside all the cultivators in his way. He did not stop at all. This infuriated the people around him, causing them to curse at him. However, Xiaochen just ignored them. However, after walking for less than 5 minutes, someone appeared in front of Xiaochen. This was the person that he did not want to see the most. Bai Zhan. Xiaochen said sullenly as he revealed a murderous intent in his eyes. Within the crowd, Bai Zhan stood upright with his hands behind his back. He smiled faintly and said, "White-robed bladesman, why are you in such a rush? Where are you going? You have not been back for half a year already. Are you not going to rest?" Xiaochen did not hide the murderous intent in his eyes. He said sullenly, "Move aside." Bai Zhan raised his eyelids slightly and remained silent. He did not move at all, showing no intention of moving aside. Xiao! Xiaochen pushed off the ground and his figure flashed. A strong wind blew as he prepared to move past Bai Zhan. In another hour, the elders of the Northern Seas 4 noble clans would arrive. Xiaochen did not want to waste time with Bai Zhan. If there were any grudges, they could settle them later. Bai Zhan moved his feet slightly and blocked Xiaochen. He said indifferently, "If you want to leave, ask me first." Who? Xiaochen moved back and soared into the air. Bai Zhan pushed off the ground and blocked Xiaochen again. This repeated 4 or 5 times. Even when Xiaochen used his clones, Bai Zhan managed to block Xiaochen at the last moment. After Bai Zhan blocked Xiaochen's way again, the rage on Xiaochen's face vanished. He moved back slightly and gently landed on the ground. He said calmly, "This is the last time. Are you leaving or not?" Bai Zhan shook his head and said, "Are you threatening me? I don't think you have the qualifications to say that." The two of them looked at each other and their auras rose continuously. Suddenly, a cool breeze blew on the calm ground. The surrounding people all felt that something was wrong. They quickly moved to the side, leaving an empty space for the two of them. Bai Zhan was very famous. He was the only peak genius of the Great Gene Nation to come here. After half a year, almost everyone knew about him. They all felt that his strength was unfathomable and that he was a true genius cultivator. As for Xiaochen, he had disappeared for half a year. Very few people remembered him. Who is this person? He just defeated the new Northern Seas 4 young masters at the outpost islets. Why is he fighting with Bai Zhan now? Bai Zhan is not someone that the Northern Seas 4 young masters can compare to. He has been ranked in the top 5 for a long time. His strength is not just for show. There might be a good show to watch. This person does indeed have the strength to challenge Bai Zhan. The surrounding people discussed the situation, waiting to watch a good show. Xiao Chen placed his right hand on his saber hilt. A murderous intent spread out in his eyes. His eyes turned scarlet as he stared at Bai Zhan, waiting for a lightning-quick strike. Hua! Just at this moment, faint golden lines suddenly appeared in the great hall where the exchange room was located. The lines quickly connected together, forming a complicated formation. Strands of spiritual energy flowed out continuously from it. You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.